right, hello everyone, welcome to the semifinals of our upper tier here. Tonight we are going to have two teams, the Chicago Deepdish up against the Sinaloa Fury, as we try to round out our Season 3 for Resurge. Joining me tonight is going to be the only Rook.
That would be me, and good evening everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you here again. Looking forward to casting an exciting semifinals.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I know Deepdish have had a mostly clean season, but the Sinaloa looking at a very rocky road. But I know that Deepdish just had a couple problems with their tank line recently, so could be a lot closer match than normally would be predicted. So this could definitely be a sweep either way, or in all honesty, it could just be a really close match.
It should be curious. We definitely have some Resurge staples here on these teams. Applesauce and Waffly, obviously, as we can see over here on Sinaloa. And Dabmaster and Rural, staples since Season 1. Been here, veterans of the scene. So we're going to be going at this one for a while, I think. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I completely forgot that semifinals were first to four when I saw the game LSFC versus Omri's on the other side of the bracket. If you haven't seen that, I would advise you go check that out.
I mean, I did too.
Four, so I'm curious. Oh, you did as well. Okay.
Yeah, that it was originally first to three, but I believe it got changed to be first to four close to the last minute because they wanted to show off a little bit more of the maps available, just because a couple of those games that we were having weren't necessarily going the distance. So tonight, at the very least, we are going to see all four modes highlighted, and we are going to start off on Busan today.
Busan. Bussin'. This map is many different words that can be used to describe it. Koreatown. You never know what we're going to see here. But one thing is for certain is that this map certainly provides a lot of styles available. I mean, you see Brawl, Double Bubble, Dive, Six-Man, almost anything. So I really feel like this map is going to depend on the individual team's specialties.
Yeah, and to be honest here, those specialties definitely going to be, I think... I think it's a little... If the tank line for Deepdish is alright, I think it's a little bit more in favor of them. In honesty.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, it is interesting. I mean, there are definitely some solid players on each team. I'm curious as to what the individual people will be playing. Because I don't even know roles at this point, dude. I mean, I see people pick stuff, and then, game starts. We're going to find out at this point. I know some staples. We're going to go from here. Busan Mecha Base will be our first map, so hopefully...
I don't know about that. Dab did mess up a little bit on the names. Oh, no. So, if it's right, yeah.
Okay, I think we're good this time.
I think we're good. Okay.
The names are present, hopefully.
Yeah, it does look like they are present, so hopefully not. I don't know. Normally we're not this Papega, but it's actually, what am I talking about? We are this Papega normally. Yeah,
Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Be honest with ourselves here.
Yep. But we're going to be looking at the Rhine Hog opening here for the Deepdish up against the Rhine Diva with, interestingly, Genji.
Individual picks, I think you're definitely going to see. I mean, we've noticed a Brawl meta start to evolve as we've watched a lot of scrims, kind of in the past 6 months, where you see these Brawl maps that are eligible in control points, where they can be very much played up to the specialty of the teams. Sensei obviously on the Genji, Asuna and Dabmaster, aka Sleepy, the man himself, on Junk Sim. This is a comp that you generally be used to seeing on Legion Control Center, but it's not going to start off well as Waffly finds Dabmaster as the first blow of the series.
Yeah, that's going to be a very nice pick, and there goes Asuna to Kuramun. They do trade out Waffly, so this could be a lot of damage, but without those CPS in the fight, I think this might be over already for the Deepdish. They might just get outpaced.
Relentless and Kuramun are going to be trading kills here. It's going to be Lucio and McCree, not usually the people you see in the kill feed, but a bloodthirsty start to the series is Sinaloa taking first cap here. Genji, already 80% up to that ultimate. Sleepy realizes his immediate task, off a Junkrat onto McCree.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Junkrat here, but I just think the execution wasn't the best. Looks like the Nano Blade, though, well, that thought isn't going to get too much off the initial slash here, but does get one on the follow-up. And with that, they're able to clean up. Sinaloa pushing them into the spawn.
Dana Blade has always been something. His blade originally, you know, it's kind of like paper mache. I mean, Junkrat itself does 120 damage per nade, and each slash does, what, 100 on the blade? But Nano turns it into a force. And Kepi there landed a massive nade into the backline to really start off that fight. We see a bomb. It's going to get walled off here to start the Shatter. We'll find Mr. Macho Man. That is a D-mech and a remech by Applesauce, but the freeze is going to cut him out. Sensei Glue will be dropped. This is all over the place. The Reinhardt's exchanging blows. But yeah, Necessary kind of heals. Waffly backed up into the corner, though. Pancakes takes this round.
Yeah, Relentless getting a nice flash there. Going to be shooting onto the point with what remains of the Sinaloa defenses. Very split up and spread out, and that's just going to be taken advantage of by the DPS here of Deepdish. This should just really definitely be a cap. I think it was a good first fight, but looks like they want to continue to contest. Dab cleaning up a lot here. Does eventually get traded out, but he does find 2 before he dies.
Very interesting. You are going to see 2 swaps that definitely could have been impacted simply by the time and the fact that that fight had gone on a long time. Mr. Macho Man onto the Windskin, Dabmaster here onto the Doomfist. This is more reminiscent of a Bulldozer comp with May and Baptiste, but it could have just been an adaptation. It could have just been them getting back. I'm not really sure. What we are sure about is there's another Nanoblade heading to us soon, and I think that's where the poke is starting to come. Sinaloa want this one quick.
Yeah, these swaps were made before the fight, and I honestly really like it. Ooh, good block there on that McCree ultimate, not catching anything. But yeah, these swaps were made without the Winston before the fight, so really nice call there. And I think that the composition really counters what they're up against quite well.
And McCree here on the flank is Relentless is going to sieve it with just firing in the shots from the backline. He's found 2, but so far it hasn't really been enough as Pancakes and Mr. Macho Man are going to be able to clean up. The main tanks at the front, taking a lot of brawl here. Picks off a Sinaloa didn't really help things as Sensei. He still got the blade, no Nano with it, but maybe opposing beats could be the story in this next fight.
Gonna be seeing these Sinaloa pushing in. Maybe if they can get that Shatter, I think this blade could be really good. It's gonna really depend on this, but no, that's not the Shatter I was talking about.
Not the Shatter they were looking for, but definitely the one Deepdish was. That's a 5-man, and this blade gets absolutely nothing. Denied.
Oh, they
Not
used
even the
it.
kill on Brett.
And they used beat. Oh no.
Must have been a cancel mid B. Clearly, that Shatter hit absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
77% and counting. Deepdish. The only way to need to win the next fight here, realistically.
Wait, did they use Nano as well?
Oh, Nano was the previous fight. Oh my goodness, that match is gonna go a little bit crazy. And Waff is gonna land a couple. That's a nice Shatter in return. This round isn't quite over yet. Deepdish not even gonna get the time to use their ultimates. Obviously, 65% as Sinaloa are going to cap it up here, so it's at least one more fight. And this Blizzard, this beat, they have a lot going into this fight. A lot of trust has been placed in Relentless in the past year, so let's see if he can probably deny Deepdish glory here with this McCree.
Yeah, if you can get this Doomfist or this May, I think it might be all over, but with that beat, it's going to make it really difficult. There's going to be the noon. Oh!
Oh, 2 HP is all that remains, and now that's down to 0. I can do math, ladies and gentlemen. Turns out 250 is more than 0. Dabmaster going to quickly clean up that kill, and it's just going to be stalls here. Sinaloa pretty much wiped off the face of the earth. Had to invest a lot of those ultimates with one of them. That was very important off that beat being canceled away by Pancake's huge Shatter. But that seems like it's going to be a pretty quick end of this one. Ultimate's telling the tale of this first point, but 191. Not exactly a runaway, per se.
No, not at all. I think a lot of it also was definitely Deepdish, because they normally don't run Pancakes on that tank slot. I was discussing that earlier. You know, they normally don't have this roster. So I think a lot of their problems were finding the tanks, dealing with and making that adjustment. But I mean, as you saw, they basically took it, and they kind of had control once they took it. So I think those problems might be a little bit more alleviated, but hey, it looks like the Deepdish without that strong main tank probably going to be a weaker team. If you can hopefully get a character to deal with it, it might break them.
I know Pancakes clearly hasn't been that present, but I mean, with the change in the roster, was the main tank or the off tank? I feel like I've seen Pancake on this roster for a hot minute.
Yeah, he's been here before. They went through multiple main tanks. That's the problem.
Okay, that definitely makes sense. Coming out strong to start, we're gonna see the 6-man on the side of Deepdish playing that Reaper Somber composition. Varying levels of success. Sensei Glue and Relentless are going to be sticking on their hit scan, and we're not going to see a very fast and effective rush here by Deepdish. They're gonna get the first pick, but that's a D-mech, and there's a lot of damage where that came from. Points gonna be unlocked here. Sensei is going to be just capping this up. It seems like it's going to be very, very quick. Deepdish. They need to probably move this all along a little bit faster to take advantage of this Reaper Sombra.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Reaper did go for the flank of his lifetime. It does pay off. He does get the value, but he gave up a lot of time here, which, in all honesty, 13% definitely worth it, I think. This is the right call to make. Just getting that high-value target first, basically for free, is just paying off.
I think he is going to find definitely more than a few. It did take the time, but I mean, we finally start to see this now. They didn't have to invest ultimates into that fight. Sleepy's flank did eventually end up paying off as he picked up 4 kills in that fight. Stray shotgun shots off the Reaper. And now they have the Coalescence and Death Blossom building towards the EMP. They have a lot to put into this fight. This one isn't quite as big of a slip up Deepdish as we might have thought.
Yeah. Oh, missed the jump there. That was actually...
Whoa. Okay. That's the Death Blossom. Completely did not away, but it was not his Brent's Coalescence. There's a lot of players, though, but Applesauce and Bomb into the back is going to catch him out. It's not. He gets the fade online in time, but that's a little bit too aggressive from Sleepy. He's going to get picked up. Waffly and McCree combining for the kill. Applesauce, it's just a cleanup at this fight. They completely messed that up. A missed jump. Probably got Sleepy a little bit overconfident in his ultimate ability. Unfortunately, while it is one of my favorite ultimates because it is the Reaper guy, it's not going to be really super effective here. He's not going to find much there.
No,
Sinaloa, capping it back up.
That was such a weird place to ult for Asuna. Like, one, they had shield from Winston. Two, they have the Diva up. And, I mean, while the grouping was pretty nice, he only brought everyone to half. Like, there were a lot of responses, and he's basically just fed a lot of ult. Now, it's 5 ultimates to 4, and the ultimates on the field for the Sinaloa are just arguably way more powerful besides that EMP.
Certainly, here's the bomb combined with the EMP. It hits absolutely nothing. Kuro Moon's beat definitely going to be helping there. There's a counter beat from Merle, though. Tactical Visor here combined with the Nano Boost. That's a lot of damage being pumped through, but the Diva D-Mech is going to Diva D-Mech. DM going to be shutting a lot of that down. They're still contesting on the point here, back and forth. Pancakes' Primal is actually going to be the first pick in this fight, ironically. He will find 2. Skeppy going to be taking a short haul off a long cliff. This is going to be a quick one for Deepdish. Seems like they're going to be taking this back with some time to spare. 71, 72, taking up. Relentless isn't going to make it back in there. Those ultimates, maybe not as effective as you might have thought. I mean, you would think EMP Bomb is going to get it, but it's actually going to be Primal that's going to do the trick for this fight.
I mean, to be fair, they did completely whiff the bomb, so that might help if you don't miss it. I think that was just honestly not the best bomb throw I've ever seen, but you know, it did help for the zoning, I guess, right? But Sinaloa are going to be trying to push in here. They don't have a ton of resources, but they're going to try to basically brute force it. That Reaper ultimate catching nothing again.
Nothing.
You might want to review how you play Reaper, man. Those ults are definitely fishing, and they're not getting any bait either. Moving on to point now. They are, I think, up still. There's going to be the bomb on. Not going to catch anything. Sinaloa trying to make something happen here using their lack of tanks. Not going to find too much using that beat instead. Now the tank's coming in for the respawn, but it's a little bit too little too late as the amount of damage and just overall manpower is just too much.
For the absolute hero in that fight. He was able to wall ride away from that deep bomb, stayed alive with just under 20 HP at 99% towards that sound barrier. Is what kept his team alive, and it's probably what's going to end up winning them this first map. Remix obviously happening here, but 6-man has finally realized its point potential. It has an area it needs to lock down. EMP is going to be the final nail in the nail in the coffin here.
Ooh.
There goes the Winston. There goes the last stallers there for Sinaloa. Deepdish picking up map 1.
Yeah, and I think the ironic part that I love the most is that the Asuna Sleepy here got way more value without the Blossoms than he did with.
It's fairly reminiscent of Reaper and Goats. In the beginning of Goats, they tried to run it, and they're just like, he's way more effective if you just run at the Tranks and try to shoot them in the face. It's not an aim here. You just gotta get close enough at this point. I mean, Come on. It's not gonna be relevant, though. I mean, maybe we'll just call it zoning, you know? Call it zoning for the time being.
Call it zoning.
But at this point, that's a quick map 1. 9 minutes. Not exactly going to be dominant, but it's going to be a good start as we see Deepdish going to adapt on 2 different compositions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I liked their dive was pretty alright. I think their brawl is a lot stronger, but it's not like their dive was necessarily atrocious. I think that the May works the best so far. So yeah.
Yep, we're gonna see. I believe that only the first map was determined in the series, so it's going to be the losers map pick. Sinaloa, they are going to have the chance to represent themselves with this next map pick. Not too many swaps they have, not massive rosters per se. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be up to substitutions here. I'm not quite sure. They've been outclassed on a couple of different comps. They seem to have definitely been favoring Sensei's and Relentless's hit scan picks, but not really too organized thus far. So I'm curious what their next map pick is going to determine.
Yeah, I mean, it is loser's pick. I think that the Fury were a little bit outdone on the like definitely had struggled dealing with that dive. They were really good at capitalizing on Deepdish's mistakes. The Brawl was a lot stronger initially, and I think if they go in to a Brawl centric map ahead of time, like, and be able to plot their picks, they should probably have this and come out on top. I think, hopefully. What map that would be? Not exactly sure. They do have to pick an escort. An assault map. They apparently it does change. But it is going to be an assault map first. My guess would probably be
the selection.
Anubis is pretty popular for teams, so I know that it's probably on the table, but maybe Volskaya would be a little bit better here for the Sinaloa.
Clearly, they have decided that you are a moron, kid. You
Yeah.
no idea what you're talking about, as they have selected the map that he did not mention. It's
Yeah.
not going to be Volskaya. It's not going to be Anubis. In fact, it is going to be Hanamura.
Yeah, like literally
Now,
2 out of 3.
The points did make sense, and I'm curious why this map selection in general. It definitely favors the Reinhardt compositions that we did see them get very, very close to picking up the first round with, and 2CP has a tendency to force good ultimate usage. So it's not like it's dreadful.
Yeah.
But, like, I kind of like the idea of Volskaya, where there's a lot of high grounds. It's a lot of ways to be able to potentially abuse your hit scan potential that has been shown in the first pack. There's been a lot of faith put in Relentless. He got a nano boost when he put him on the flank. He had no help. He was still able to pick up 2 kills, but there's faith being put into him.
Yeah.
And clearly, I'm not sure if that's really been done with this map selection. While Reinhardt is definitely good, hit scan maybe not as much, because there's not as many high grounds to abuse that can't be easily accessed by a Mei or a Symmetra. So this is a curious selection for me. Let's see what goes on here. Just one swap. It's going to be Ender Ian on the support, so that's really not going to change too much.
No, it's really not. I think I like Hanamura in theory. It's kind of the same reasons why you might pick Volskaya, but I think that Volskaya is a little bit stronger here for the Sinaloa, just because it's a lot harder past the first point to get stuck. Like on the first point, you can get stuck in the main door. On the second point, it's a little bit harder to take Hanamura's second point as well. So I would really think that Volskaya would be a lot better here, but looking at the compositions, I absolutely... I'm sorry, I really do not like what's going on here for the Deepdish. We've seen double shield so many times in this league, and it has not taken a singular game. Stop running it with Orisa, okay? I get Orisa is decent. She's not bad. She's situational. Like, that's fair. But just run a Reinhardt. It's the same composition, but with a Reinhardt. You have more shield. You just have more utility. There's no reason to replace the Reinhardt with an Orisa. It's the same comp. It works the same, exact same. But then you can actually brawl with it. I appreciate the attempt, but I'm sorry. It's just a huge pet peeve because it's never worked.
It is a more rigid skeleton that teams definitely have to deal with. Now, they're going to get lucky. Sensei and Relentless are going to continue on their hit scan picks. So there will be no Symmetra. There will be no TP directly past the point. Sleepy's just got free farm. He is free farm with a Mercy Pocket, with pulls, with poke damage. This is definitely a comp that they like, and they're not going to have to play against the menace that can be that Symmetra ruining their strategies. At this point, you're starting to see a lead build that's going to be hard to surmount. Is Sleepy already building up towards that barrage? That is a very cheap ultimate, and you gotta realize there is, count 'em, 1 stun on the side of Sinaloa. That is a flashbang. So you stay high enough, you're easily killing 2-3 as soon as they walk through the choke, and ultimates are going to start to get cycled. Kuro, he's at 9% ultimate charge. He has died off cooldown. Obviously, Lucio ult being the slowest charging ultimate in the game, but that's just not good. Do better, man.
Yeah.
This far, cut him down early.
Asuna definitely taking control of this. And as you can see, the Sinaloa just walking through basically for free there. That's why the Reinhardt is better. You can actually contest that at least a little bit with the positioning or with shields. It makes it a little bit harder, but Asuna does not care. Sleepy getting a 5k imprint, stealing the 6k. Not today, man. No aces.
Very close to the 6k.
Yeah.
His ego would have been through the roof. Fortunately, is going to get checked a little bit. And Applesauce needs to check his hero selection. That's a diva. Thank you very much. Trying to deny that far away a little bit more of the value that is necessary. But that Lucio obviously being very helpful in the speedy compositions as we saw there. But they're going to swap the Lucio over now to the Mercy. So this is once again all faith in the hit scans. There's the first pick. That's a good start.
Yeah. Very nice start here. They're going to try to entry, but just the amount of DPS from Dab and with that ultimate from Brent coming up, it's going to make it a lot harder for the Sinaloa to push through. They are going to jump on the Sigma, who is way out of position. Whirl gets caught out. That's a big pick right now. Bob thrown out by the Deepdish as a defensive, but it's not going to matter because he can't touch the point. Yeah, he's getting a lot of damage in, but it's not going to get any picks, and that's really what you need. Finally, he does find Ender, and Sensei is going to fall down to the Dab, but... oh man, Dab just carrying this fight. Really nicely done. Asuna coming back off the respawn, getting a couple picks of his own.
Okay, so you want to trash talk Reinhardt, and then that fight happened. I mean, you want to trash talk Orisa, and then that fight happened. Because that was complete incompetence by the Reinhardt, honestly. I mean, the goal was correct. They'd already gotten a first pick, as we see in this fight as well. This one's going to be safe enough to get res. But the problem with that is that they didn't play around their Reinhardt. They have to take fast engages because they're going up against this poke that Deepdish is putting out. And it's just getting free value, pick after pick after pick. They're not playing fast enough to be able to play around it. Now obviously, with getting close to 6 ultimates built up, this is going to start to be easier. This Bob is going to be chucking, chucked all to the point here.
Oh
There's
no.
gonna be some tap and immediately some swaps. Waffly Shatter is a solo shatter and it's a miss. Sleepy gets jettisoned out the door courtesy of that shatter. It will find Whirl on the fire strike here, so that's the pharmacy out of the fight once again to start this whole picture. Ultimates, I think, going to be expanded as Dabmaster. It's his second Bob. That's a lot more damage, but I think this fight is going to go completely differently. That is an Ashe pumping damage through an Ant Matrix, and they did not take all the poke damage crossing the choke from the Bob in the first place. Sinaloa in prime position to get this A cap going, and not a moment too soon.
No, they made it just in time. That was definitely a good break. And while I appreciate what Deepdish was doing, they did a great job there. Unfortunately, peels and just positioning a little bit off for those tanks not peeling to the right spots and opening up their team to a lot of holes. Waffly though, definitely he's a little aggressive on his shield and a little impatient, not letting it recharge. I think that's why this poke is really strong against this team. While normally it might not be as good, it's definitely working against how this Reinhardt likes to play.
Now, I mean, Hanamura, I despise this map above all else. Above anything else in the game, I hate Hanamura, and this is why. I mean, as I say that's going to be a first entry pick. That's a bomb into the backline. They can't even get around the side before Applesauce's bomb kills them. Brent gets shattered there. Waffly putting them down on their backs. That's not a lamp. That's not an immortality field that can save them. One tick, going to be 2. Swaps now going to start to come in. Tracy. Sleepy on Tracer. Close to Tracy. We're going to take it. That's going to drop him down there with the prophetic flux. Stabmaster back on the Doofus. This is all about stall and picks. Relentless. He has prime position up here on the high ground. He needs to be putting in more damage. He's going to shut down Dabmaster. But now, before Dab finds one, the bongo on the point. And that probably was Sinaloa's best opportunity to take it. But it is going to be stymied by the sheer amount of ultimates that Deepdish were able to get.
Yeah, Deepdish clutching it out with those good ultimates, with that honestly good swaps and respawn. Asuna taking Sleepy here, taking a really good swap as that Tracer, getting 2 crucial picks. First one on that Reinhardt, as Waffly again, very aggressive, very far forward. I think if they can continue to abuse that, it's going to be good. But there's Pancake swapping over to the Reinhardt double shield, and my dreams, my wishes have been answered. But I don't know if it's going to necessarily matter here, is that Bob is basically going to get thrown onto the point. Really good position there. They are going to block the assault from Sinaloa moving up these stairs. Just the tanks cut off as Dab is going to be able to get 2 on the side.
That's a hard flank from the Deepdish DPS. He's going to find one, but Relentless has been chased up and down this map, and he is still not dead. pumping in the damage. That bob out of the point was simply a distraction. He came to the high ground and immediately picked off a healer. However, I'm not even sure if this is still going to be enough. The Reinhardt is gone. He's kind of out of this fight. He's maybe 60 HP. He's hiding in the corner, and down he falls. This is why I hate Hanamura. These points are equally very, very hard to contest if they try to make their way through chokes. It just doesn't work sometimes. I mean, they swapped all of their ultimates. They had nothing. They had maybe close to a gravitic flux, but they were able to switch everything and still get rewarded. Because that's kind of what 2CB does in this space, and Applesauce is still spamming. He did not go for an edge jump. He's 40% to a mech. They are only going to get one fight, and they might have to do it without their diva if the shield continues.
Yeah, Waffly though gonna have that shatter, and there is a lot to block it. So as long as they can keep that Sigma shield and the Ryan shield alternating, they are gonna have a huge opportunity here. The shield though is gone from Waffly. He's super low. They're low on time as well. Sinaloa using that bob to almost C9. They both takes drop unfortunately for the deep dish, so they are gonna take advantage of that shatter not catching what they need to though. Gonna be probably relying on Applesauce here to throw out a big ult, but still respawning. They got a touch. 1 second left.
I mean, this was just a mismanagement of resources. It started with Applesauce getting picked early, once again, as I mentioned, because he didn't elect to take a jump off the edge. At the end of the day, that diva is going to be very crucial in needing the damage, so he's going to get chunked down in the first half of that fight. And as it's in the bob the point to drop, Waffly has probably a free shatter on the high ground, because Reinhardt was the first man to go, and he didn't realize that in time. And so he was only able to shatter a Torb turret, which he subsequently pinned, and Brent on the Baptiste, which he did just not get the work done there. 85%, it is a very valiant effort. It is a reasonable attempt on the offense, as we will see a winner of this map. This map will not see extra rounds, thank God. But it might not be enough at the end of the day. Point B is definitely going to be that reassurance point for you. So Sinaloa were able to cap point A with just about 10 seconds remaining. But point B of Hanamura is obnoxious because it is a reassurance. It's like, oh, you weren't able to defend A, you weren't able to hold it, we got you. Let's give you the easiest point in the game to defend with all the natural chokes. Whatever comp you play, it's probably good enough. Double shield brawl, have 0 ultimates because you swapped your entire team and now have no economy whatsoever. We got you with this point B, and they're going to hold. Deepdish still looking to get a pole position 2-0 in this series with a full cap here on Hanamura.
Yeah, I think that's why I like Volskaya better. I think Volskaya's respawns are a lot more balanced, especially on point 2, because you have to go around 2 walls, not 1, 2, and actually see the point. I think that's what makes it a lot better. All the other CP maps basically don't abide by this rule, and it makes it insanely broken. So, but either way, this is Hanamura, and they're going to try to push around this corner here. He's trying to set up that sim turret. It does get stunned off the bat, but thinks they're going to get it off regardless.
Here's the sim TP we were talking about. Maywall is going to be cutting them off from the point. They are not going to get a tick quite off of this immediately, but those sim turrets doing massive work here. That lamp's going to be felled basically just by those turrets. Here's the first pick now for Deepdish. Second one is going to be gained, and not quite enough pressure as put in Applesauce. He's beamed down, and this is why this match is very powerful against these compositions. They were basically... Sinaloa is basically playing something that very much resembled the double shield, obviously with the Reinhardt as the difference. But what's Reinhardt if not Orisa that's able to move a little bit faster? There's really not that much of a difference. He'd be much, much better in this case, as they now have 6 minutes heading into this point and much more ultimates to spare.
Yeah, also unfortunately, huge amount of basically the entire team there for Sinaloa out of position, not even close to the point, so almost no reaction. I mean, it's Hanamura, it's known for the sim strats. A little bit unfortunate there, but they're going to open up for an ultimate. Brent Droning out, nothing off the shatter, unfortunately, in the return. Gonna catch just Pancakes, who does get saved by the immortality and the beat. Now's the time to push out, I think. Try to take advantage of it. Teleported behind, not gonna get too much work either. And that Maywall gonna help prevent stuff, but Applesauce just getting a lot of damage off of those basic projectiles. I mean, 70 each in a cramped room. Ooh, gotta love it.
That is a brutal fight for Deepdish, solely based off of indecision of their tanks. They had probably their chance to get that hold. They were way up in the support ultimate charges. Brand's amplification matrix popped first, putting a lot of pressure, and Rural's beat giving them so much sustain, but they did not move forward. And then they only had to invest 2 ultimates into that. That was a high noon, and that was an amp matrix. That was not a lot. Now they're going to be going straight to point here, it seems, which is probably the play. They're going to TP over top of the point, but that's going to be caught by the Gravitic Flux. It's only going to be Brent who's going to take the damage. He will get that immortality field down. Grab's going to be able to get 2. Relentless still taking the damage on the backside of the point. That's going to be the Bob there. That's going to be shutting a lot of the contest down. Relentless, uncontested. He's sitting around on the point and meleeing people as if he's Doomfist. But it's his Bob doing all the work here.
Honestly, yeah, and okay, good ultimates there. Honestly, by Sinaloa, really effective use. They did have to use 3 though, and Deepdish didn't use basically anything at all there. I mean, they might have thrown out pancakes, but the real heavy hitting ult here is going to be that Mei, and there really isn't a lot of counterplay right now for that. I mean, maybe you have the stun and you have Applesauce's absorb, but you got to be really close for those.
Name of the game here is when do you drop? We have the hit scan off the high ground. Relentless is going to get healed up. Blizzard is going to catch his first victim as Waffly falls, but Relentless is getting chased down. Sleepy's found 2. They dropped way too early into this fight. The sim wall, I think, forced a lot of it. They could have played that a little bit better, maybe contested a little bit too late, but Relentless will get cut down, and that's Deepdish.
Yeah.
0. Story of the game so far, as you've said, it's just ultimates.
Yeah, I think that was also a little bit late as well, or just, sorry, like it was just disconnected, not necessarily late. Sorry. Definitely disconnected drop, which cost them a lot here. It looks like the indecision from both teams is what's gonna really be the name of the game here. Ultimates in who can make the smart plays first. That was an insane flank, though.
Compositional difference.
Yeah.
Come on, man. There's been a lot weird with that. I respect the attempt for the hit scan on that map. I definitely fear there could have been better map selections. But at the end of the day, 2CP can be fairly unidimensional. So I think it's going to be curious. 2CP is based around singular fights and how you take those singular fights time and time again. But it's about the same conditions, you know?
Yeah.
That's why they're removing it. I mean, it's just running the same fights over and over and over again does not feel dynamic enough in a game like Overwatch. And they are going to get the chance to be able to change that problem because they're going to get a bunch of varying different environments on these next 2 maps.
True. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what you could do to change 2CP because it's not dynamic like you said.
3CP.
3CP. Well, I mean, it's not and it's not like it's rewarding either because your gate kept at hitting 33%. Like, I feel like it would be way more rewarding if the percent maybe didn't decrease. Like, that might also work because, you know, the point is to make it rewarding for the offense to push through because this game is a lot more focused on aggression than it is defense. So rewarding the offense more, you're still rewarding both teams. Both teams get to play offense. It's just, yeah. And then maybe keep it the same for casual play because, you know, you're only playing the map once.
I mean, it's definitely a pain. I don't know if you recall back in the day when they first tried to change 2CP where they just did percentages without the tick system. Or at least, I believe the tick system was in place at that point. But I think that if you didn't, the first tick was similar to the second and third. It was 0. It started at 33%. I remember games where teams would sit on the point and get maybe 6% capped, and then you would have just a ball walk back and back cap the point. That didn't feel very rewarding, I would say. So I think it's very hard to make everyone happy. So,
yeah,
but the point still stands that things need to be changed a little bit up here for the Fury. Doesn't seem like much is going to come in. Kepi was a support player. I'm not sure about Mr. Hacks EMP on the enemy team.
Yeah.
But KR, it seems like it will be. Definitely, once again, favoring the brawl. Back to the Reinhardt. Okay. Yeah. Let's keep it rolling with these map picks. So
I like the King's Row. I think it's a little bit better than Numbani, which I think would be the other mostly viable pick for Fury. You definitely don't want to go Rialto. Sure. Havana could also be an option for Fury, but it is going to be King's Row, which I do like. Unfortunately for them, this is another spot where the teleporter strategy is fairly common. So, I mean, they basically didn't have any counterplay or adaptation to that in Hanamura, which provided is pretty difficult to do in CP. So I'd be kind of interested to see how they might deal with it here, because I know that Deepdish does like going for that TP.
Very, very true. Teleporter, I mean, it can get value. It really depends on where you want to put people. I mean, there's a very creative one by the Houston Outlaws in the 2019 season where they were able to Maywall over something, use the TP because of that LOS, and then drop the Maywall, so it was uncontestable. I'm curious. King's Row. Going back to a fan favorite, we've had kind of fan favorite after fan favorite here. I think Busan has probably become the next most loved control map after Lijiang because of its ability to play as many types of compositions as you're going to see here. But King's Row, you're going to get locked down here. I mean, Deepdish has the opportunity to go for double shield. I don't think they'll want to.
No.
One swap is going to be coming through here. Radio will enter the playing field here on the DPS, placing Dab for this role. So, not going to see any swaps on the side of Sinaloa. Just Radio. King's Row. Let's get it started.
Yeah, it looks like, there we go. There's going to be the double hit scan here.
Again?
I honestly really like that on this map way more than on Hanamura. The opening should be a lot stronger. The Widow is really strong on that. If you can get that first pick, it's really rewarding. But also, it's a lot easier, I think, to push forward and to get punished as the offense when you are running that double hit scan on this map. I mean, Pharah is a huge threat, so like this is a really good call. It doesn't look like there's any dedicated Symmetra players available for Sinaloa because, I mean, if you're going to do a Symmetra play, you're going to do it on Hanamura or King's Row, and we just haven't seen that.
Yeah, I think we really need to put emphasis on Ender here. At the end of the day, we are playing a double hit scan, so this is very much based around poke, which is mirrored by the off-tank choice in Applesauce. He's playing for slow. They're just playing for kills. So you gotta understand that. Ender is going to have to be able to heal up a lot of spam damage for Sleepy and Radio here on the Mei and the McCree. So this is also on the DPS to get kills, but Ender needs to be doing a lot more as Lucio here. More than it did on map 1 at the very least.
Yeah, huge amount of damage coming out onto the Sinaloa Fury. Decent flank here, not going to be too rewarding for this Widow, missing a lot of shots, unfortunately. But they are able to ice out Ender, who you said needed to do a lot of work. But, I mean, looks like with Pancakes down, the shield ward just going to be a little bit too heavy in the favor of Sinaloa. This hit scan really abusing the shields. Solid first take.
Pretty basic, pretty simple. It was done effectively. Now comes the variable fights, though. As we said, QCP is very stable.
Static?
Because you're only getting static, that would be a better word. Because there are only a few different types of fights. Hybrid, you're going to have that for the first point. It seems like Sinaloa had a pretty reasonable set play. Or it could have just been, Sensei maybe getting a little bit of headshot damage as the Widow. He's going to go into the Hanzo here. So once again, more of a pokey style of brawl. And I kind of like this. However, they are going to have to contest this once again. Ender's drop. Can he get his speed boost correctly to make sure this Blizzard does not get value?
Also notably, that Widow did swap over to Hanzo, but oh my geez, 4-man shatter. That's gonna be a quick clean up there. That's clean.
Why waste the Mei if you can use Big Hammerman instead to put in lots of damage? And that's something they didn't really do in that fight. 5-man shatter, they're gonna pick up 4 of those kills. That's gonna be a quick pause.
That was a quick resume.
Tab hitting the right button. Okay, genius.
Nice job, Tab.
Genui, as they say. But this is a battle of the big ultimates. Grab it on Surge on the side of Sinaloa here. But Sleepy's Blizzard is going to be the biggest thing in this fight. He's just going to speed boost right into this choke. That's a nice table. That's a lot of people frozen.
Oh,
Sensei, Ender, Applesauce, they are all falling, dropping like flies.
Yeah.
But a very easy ultimate fight.
Yep.
We expected that. When you play the Zarya, you basically say, I am going to give up Blizzards about 80% of the time. I am just going to take straight L's on this fight in the hope that I am just going to get straight dubs in my Grab Dragon fight. So clearly that's kind of the play they've been going for. This is probably one of the more standard cons that I've honestly seen run on this map with this McCree Hanzo. So I mean, for that I'm grateful. Sinaloa, they're starting off well. Amplification Matrix, this is more or less just going to be used for zoning. Oh, or Sensei. Or Sensei. He gets a little bit too greedy and gets immediately punished by Radio.
Yeah, honestly, I like the Zarya idea. You're basically just trading one fight for a more dominating push, which I think works. Way better on 2CP than possibly Escort, just because this second point is kind of notorious on King's Row for being a bit difficult to push through. Ultimates coming up from Radio. Massive stun coming up from Relentless. Only going to trade to Waffly, but with the Mei, just going to shut down this point. Looks like it's really difficult for the Sinaloa to find an opening here, and that's kind of where I think this Zarya, while is doing work, might not be the right call.
Zarya is very heavily dependent on winning several fights after another. The whole point of Zarya is looking over at your juice DPS friend who decided that he's going to play off-tank for a change, and the fact that he's building grabs about once every 50 seconds. The point is that if you can't get these ultimates rotating and you win fight after fight, keeping your high-charge Zarya in the battle, beaming down their diva, it is not going to favor you. Here comes the first Grab Dragon, so this is their opportunity to do things, but I think it might just immediately get shut down. Beat is not enough to save you if you're in a Blizzard because the amount of times it takes to hold that, and clearly they're realizing that now. Relentless on the flank is just going to get completely shut down here, as this Grab Dragon is going to get extended for another fight. They still have to hold this and wait.
Yeah, I think that if they weren't to do the beat, that was definitely a really solid fight for Sinaloa. The only reason being they pushed the payload so far. They took that momentum, they really work with it. If they were to use the Grab Dragon and win this fight, I think it's really gonna work out for them. But without that beat, that's a huge tool that they're just not gonna be able to have.
I get some things done. Seems like we may see a quick pause.
Potentially. Dab.
Dab. Donut wall.
Dab. Donut wall.
As always, custom game leaders being scuffed. Doesn't seem. Oh no, Ender is very AFK.
Rip.
They're still taking this fight. Genius.
Thanks, Dab. Got somebody playing like Tetris in the background, like.
Yeah, so he's AFK in the backline, punching a wall as of right now. So, Ender not really feeling it in this fight, and it's gonna hurt. Once again, this is why I think the casters need to have control over lobbies here.
I would do that, except casting and being the streamer is very, very attention consuming, and I know it makes my commentary suck.
At the end of the day, I'm sure I'll be able to tell you that shouldn't be too hard.
What, making my commentary suck?
And we're just gonna keep going. Grab Dragon is going to get negated for another fight, clearly, obviously, due to this AFK. But, I mean, it kind of doesn't change the story because the Ultimates definitely were going to be favoring the side of Deepdish. This next fight is going to be the big one. Alright.
Yeah.
So here we go, going back in here. Sinaloa gonna have to take your chances on another fight here. 1 minute and 54 seconds remaining on their offense. As you mentioned, you know, they did get a reasonable amount of cart push, so it is not terrible.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
at the end of the day,
I mean,
yep, there's a late stagger.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. That cart push just basically got reversed because, I mean, a little bit because of Dab, not gonna lie. But, like, it's not the best thing in the world. Oh, this Hanzo also gonna get jumped. That's a... Oh, barely didn't get the reset. That's very good.
He forces the lamp out from Kuro, though, and that's probably not optimal in this case. And as you mentioned, the cart push. They're going to have to take 2 fights. This might have been one in the past, but it's 2 again. But they have to start this off. Grab Dragon has to hit. Oh! That's both tanks, and no lamp is going to be available previously, as Sensei got a little bit aggressive, and that's going to force his team probably into a lost fight here. He's also going to work his way out, but that is another fight where the Grab Dragon gets completely shut down.
They're investing resources into this.
Wait. They may be able to turn this around. You're never sure because of the advantage. Radio's going to get felled. Royal, he's very low. He's got to get out of there, and he will. But grab. He's going to find it. That's a good tempo grab. Probably not the best place to use that dragon, but it doesn't matter. Pancakes is down. Sleepy will fall. Courtesy of that. That was good. That was good timing, honestly.
Yeah, that was a good draft.
I just swapped over to Zen here, honestly.
Yeah.
And that definitely could help them.
I like the Zen swap. He got a pick in that fight. Definitely worth the value already. They're pushing it a large distance. They're all grouped up, so that fight really, honestly, couldn't have been better for Sinaloa. I think maybe the Dragon would have been useful to not use there because it was just 2 people. But you know what? At least the ults are synced here for that combo.
At the end of the day, they have the ult to use this fight. That's a huge pick. Sleepy had the Blizzard. Well, that trance was probably a little bit aggressive. They are going to be trading out some players. Bomb for the backline really isn't actually going to go anywhere, but Radio goes ham. Pops a triple kill on the McCree. That's some heads. He's going to find the 4th on a Relentless. And that's going to be a pretty quick cleanup. Courtesy of that Zarya. I mean, the Zarya did things, but not fast enough.
Yeah.
There was a one fight that was absolutely scuffed. And, you know, blame Dab for that one. I'm not going to be mad if this goes 5 maps here because of that one. But they weren't really able to get the momentum going. And even when they had that Transcendence to start off the early fight, it wasn't enough. Grab Drag got used once on a fight that was probably already won without the Dragon. So that was 5 minutes that they played a combo that they only got off once.
And that's why I like the Zarya. I think for the way that Sinaloa is playing, you don't want the Zarya. It's a strong combination in theory, but they're not exactly playing to theory. I think a lot stronger of a combo would probably just be like just using the applesauce on that Diva or that Sigma would be a lot stronger here. But, and I mean, to my point right now, for what the offense is running that Bastion, you really want a Sigma. I know Diva's pretty good against Bastion, but hear me out. Absorb lasts longer, and you have a shield for it.
This is a fairly, I wouldn't say consistent, I wouldn't say new, but it is an innovative approach to the option of attacking King's Road Point A. It's a very defensive favored point, where if you're playing anything that involves a McCree or a May, there's going to be a lot of spam damage coming your way, and it's going to take you ultimates and time to cap the point. But this Bastion is an option to completely ignore all of that whatsoever. A TP on top of the statue and a lot of damage raining down from above, and that could just be a pretty quick A. Here we go. Fortunately, they do have the Hanzo to start to take care of this, as Sensei is going to be able to punch some damage in. But it's going to start very well for Deepdish. Not okay. As I say that, Ender puts a definitive reason to why I am wrong and I should never cast a game again nor make predictions. That's a nice kill for the Zenyatta, and they're going to completely stymie Deepdish's first chances to take at this point.
I mean, to be fair, look at where Sigma is. That's...
What? What in the hell? Okay, well, we better hope this gets a pick, or they are just going to be taking 5v6 for days. I don't know if he's AFK or he's trying to...
No, he's hiding. He's hiding. What?
Yeah, I mean, we're watching this. As he hears Sensei very close, but this needs to do more damage. I mean, fortunately, they do have the Mei, so they kind of have this alternate of the Sigma shield to get them a little bit further into place. Here comes the spam off the high ground. All right, now this starts to take value with the off angle. Shatter's going to be bigger, though. Waffly definitely getting the better of this engage. He's going to find pancakes with a quick damage pumped in from Sensei. Those sonar storm arrows get done thus far in the fight.
While I liked the idea of the Sigma flank, no. Just reset. Honestly,
I mean, he could have tried to get the Hanzo. He heard Sensei on the flank there. He was watching him. 2 shots in a rock combined with another shot. That's a very dead Hanzo. But he did not go for that. He didn't go for the flank. Didn't go for the play. That was probably what the flank was all about. And they're going to be taking a lot of L's here. Okay, here comes the beat. This is aggressive. That's an Ant Matrix. Also aggressive. They need to start with the trans, and they don't get it off before Applesauce dies. There is no Grab Dragon. Here come the ultimate abilities. That trans is just going to get dropped as the flux goes down. That's going to be a lot of damage done. People are just getting picked off. Ultimate's not used as well as they need to be in Deepdish. They're going to take 3 attempts at this point, and they're going to get it on the 3rd time.
Yeah, so not as clean as the Sinaloa first push, but I mean, it works. They have a decent amount of time. They have a lot of ult advantage because 4 ultimates should have been enough to hold that, but unfortunately they didn't, and now it's going to be 3-1. So looking pretty good right now for the Deepdish. I mean, they have the Blizzard, which is just one every fight. There's literally nothing to stop the Blizzard now, especially with the lack of trans, so whenever Sleepy or Asuna wants here, just gonna basically win the fight.
There is no transcendence. There is just the hope of a good grab and hope that they can get back to the point in time with a Zenyatta that's not quite going to do it. So this fight is crucial for Sinaloa taking this and probably pushing the cart back a little bit. Here we go. Applesauce on top of the high ground here. Not really getting the energy to start the fight. Here's going to be the high noon. It's going to be on the flank. Blizzard, it's going to control up Waffly, who's going to get the immortality field. Denied? Not quite. Macho Man's not going to get to eat, and that is still a lot of damage being pumped through, even though the Reinhardt is dead. Relentless, he's found 2 on the high ground with the Kree. But Sleepy, he's going to come in with the assassination here, as it's Ender and Applesauce left. 4 players still alive, and they're really going to have to contest this and hope to get some late kills, because otherwise this is going to be pancakes rolling through. His Earth Shadow denied by Applesauce's bubble. A good start for the lads themselves. Sensei, he's going to find himself alone on the cart, 94 towards this Dragon Strike. He's trying to get things done, and the damage, the poke is finally going to come through. They weren't able to force that quad stack of Sinaloa players off that high ground, and they're going to be able to get the pickup kills here. Finally, maybe a semblance of hope here on the defense for the Fury.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have advantage as well going into this next fight. Applesauce full charge, going to be getting that pretty soon, actually. And there's not really any tools for the Deepdish to push in with. Recognizing this, they are going to swap off to McCree Doomfist. Radio going to be definitely trying to make that opening happen. Ideally, I think you'd want either the McCree or the Hanzo here. I mean, yeah, that'd definitely be my ideal pick.
I do not like these swaps, but Radio is probably going to try to prove my words wrong here. What is that Ant Matrix from Kuro? He's not really going to get the value he absolutely needs, and none of the ultimates expended again from Sinaloa. First they used too many of them, now they use too few with nothing. However, still the poke, it's still there. They're forced to use the immortality field, but the poke finally comes through. Grab Dragon is coming back to the point, but I think it is going to be far, far too late. Sensei is actually going to pop that from spawn to try to put in some damage, as that's going to be a Dragon grab. It might get some people, but that Dragon's actually too low. Waffly Shadow isn't getting anything. The beak sustains if he's ever want to lie through the grab. Match point, Deepdish. Looking to take it home.
Yeah, honestly, good take there from Deepdish. They did a great job pushing through, using their ult effectively. Sinaloa, firstly, like you said, the ult use just wasn't there, wasn't as it needed to be. I would love to see them really, really, really try for your more effective ults in the next match. That's definitely, I think, their biggest weakness, because they were definitely strong on the offense. Obviously, a fight was a little scuffed, and if that didn't happen, I think they might have had the second point, and we might be looking at a completely different game.
69% as Radio makes his entry into the game very, very well known. And he's immediately going to get that kill with the Doomfist to really start off that last fight. But match point for Deepdish. They're looking to clean this one up quickly. Clean it quickly. I don't know who I am. Maybe Daffy Duck. You better duck this 4-0, though. Sinaloa, they really need to get it together.
Yeah, I think they have a huge shot to get on the board here. It is going to be the the assault. Wait, can I even read? Yeah, okay, we're going backwards now. So it is going to be escort, full escort, and then we're going to go back to assault. Full escort here. I think that Rialto is not a good choice. Probably go with Havana.
Yeah.
Havana, if well, the problem is that Deepdish likes holding the door, which is definitely the smart thing to do. Like if you like on Havana, just hold the front door. Just hold spawn. It's so powerful. If you can get 40 seconds, that's basically par for that time. That's the optimal amount of time. So if Deep Dish can hold that, it kind of spells doom for the Fury. But if Fury can hold that front spawn for a little bit longer, I think that's better, and they should probably have advantage for that.
I mean, certainly. I think Havana is probably the choice, or if Junkertown is in the map pool, they should probably go for something like that. They have a lot that could favor them here. I mean, this is where you can finally probably start to get a handle on this series if you're Sinaloa, because a lot of the brawl maps have really been played as they've tried to pick through this. Where you're going to start to see varied compositions, varied maps start to come out. So I think 66, Junkertown, Havana definitely could be anything that gets picked here. I'm not quite sure. It's going to be completely up to them, as they're going to go probably into the tank for a little bit, as they probably take their next map. Radio doesn't want the Havana, which is honestly fair. But Low, we're just going to be chilling. Going to see Kepi and Ember. So Kepi will make the return back into the game. They played a first map when they were playing there on Busan. A quick disconnect, I believe. I'm not quite sure what's prevented them from playing the last two maps, but they are going to put all their faith in Kepi, as this could be potentially their last map in the series. Just going to be waiting on that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? You brought it up. I didn't even think about Kings Row Kings Row, Route 66 as a possible map for the Fury to pick. I like 66. It's traditional, which I mean isn't necessarily bad. Like Escort's definitely a really good mode.
What?
Like you, like
that's like you.
Like you can run the dive, you can run.
Hey, I want you to settle down and marry a nice traditional girl. You're saying, why have traditional girls? We're not gonna have a traditional Overwatch map like 66. What does that even mean?
So traditional gonna be like there's not a lot of mix-ups you necessarily do. We've had it for a while. We already know that it's basically either dominated by a strong brawl or a strong like Winston dive, or usually with a diva. It's basically the vanilla comps that we've seen ages time and time again, where you have a hit scan, usually McCree, you have your either your Winston or your Reinhardt, and diva basically close to optimal on that map. There's not a lot that changes. Maybe you have a sniper, but it's pretty stable. We typically see the same compositions on that map all the time. Versus Havana, you definitely have to think about it a lot more. I think that might be better for Fury, because it seems like they've been having problems dealing with the Pharah. They've been winning the sniper duels. So while the Pharah might be good first point, once they start hitting that second point, the Pharah completely shut down. Even then, Pharah not that great first point. Third point, it's sniper's paradise. So since the Deep Dish seem to have been struggling with those longer range engagements, it could be good for Fury if they can push through. Otherwise, 66 is pretty good, but it's more optimal for Faraz, so they might have a couple more problems dealing with it.
If all maps are on the table and I'm trying to start a reverse sweep in a series, I'm either going to pick whatever's most comfortable for my team or that pick that they have just decided right there. Junkertown is the perfect map to start off a sweep, potentially a reverse sweep in this series. It is a map that throws out and defies all expectations when you think about Overwatch. It doesn't make sense as a map. It's the only one where an Orisa has been completely garbage, yet is still viable. Back when Orisa was bad. You can play anything on this map. If you want to go pirate ship, it's possible. And it's almost expected.
Yeah.
No Fury. They're starting this one out, and this is what they want.
The problem is that those dynamic compositions seem to be favoring the Deep Dish. While I like the idea from Fury, they haven't necessarily shown anything besides straight up bread and butter brawl. So, like, if they had maybe a Bastion, if they had shown that Symmetra before, they haven't yet. And I think that might work against them here. Because Deep Dish have, like you said, like this is you can run basically anything. We've seen the Orisa already from Deep Dish. Deep Dish basically have an array of comps to just choose from and to run, and those mix-ups could be difficult for the Fury to handle.
That's true. However, I honestly do feel that Fury have more of a potential advantage coming in this map. They get to start an attack, so the first person that gets to pull out strats if they have particular things lined up in a series. This map favors hit scan. This is a double sniper map of it's heaven for these players. So I think Sensei and Relentless are probably going to have a little bit more free reign on this map. And if you start to roll on this map, Junkertown makes you feel impossible. First map is hard because there's so much long sight lines that if your snipers are better, you win. Second point is so obnoxious to contest high ground. If you're trying to play into a double shield comp, it is a pain. Third point, it is just a nightmare to get around all these bends and take all sorts of different fights. And Fury are going to get the first crack at it. So they get the first try to get through this as they get comfortable within the map. And if they pull out a pirate ship, it feels even harder for the defense. How are you supposed to attack this? If double snipers are rolling, how do you beat them if they're just clicking heads? I think the Fury have picked the correct map to start this series, to potentially start their reverse sweep.
Yeah, to get on the board, to
get on the board. They have to start. They have to start somewhere. This is probably the best map, in my opinion, to do so.
In all honesty, I definitely think you're right in a lot of respects. It's a tough choice for the escort map because there are a lot of good ones to Fury. Personally, I think this maximizes Deep Dish's strengths a little bit too much. But you know what? If they can certainly get rolling on the first point, they might just take the map entirely. I definitely like it for the Fury for the first point, but it just depends on that first point. There's so much aggressive play that can be had. It's where you can hold up in that spawn like on Havana, basically. And you also could run super defensive with the Orisa and have a Bastion of your own. We haven't seen too many shield break characters, only major hit scans, so it could be a problem for the offense here, if that is true.
Note before we get into this and really start the analysis, personally, I'm surprised that it took an hour before we had that Freudian slip, as we might have caught there for any of our more attentive listeners. I don't think he was going to be leaking anything or pointing anything at particularly, but
What?
Maybe take a look back at the bot there. See, he doesn't even know. I
don't even know.
He doesn't even realize. I'll give him the clip later. It's irrelevant. But as we see here, one swap was made on the side of the Deep Dish. Audacity. He's going to move into the game, and it's for a pretty obvious reason as we start to see this defense. They want to play double sniper. And Waffly's going to get to play his ball that he loves. We've definitely seen it from them before. I actually had the courtesy and the unfortunate nature of playing against this ball a long, long time ago. I don't want to get into it. But it's going to be double shield, double sniper, Bap Zen. All the poke damage all the time for the Deep Dish as the Fury. They are trying to maintain their position in this series. And here we go. They're going to start on a ball composition here. Ball, Diva, McCree, Widowmaker, Happy and Kuro going to be playing the Ana and the Brig. So kind of dive snipers, but as we're just going to see him get picked back and forth. Waffly, he's going to be the first engaging his Audacity is going to go down, but Radio is going to get a quick headshot pick on a Sensei as we get started. Kart's definitely going to start getting pushed as the Antian getting some good value in it early. Rural is going to get chunked down very, very low. But Waffly getting poked out courtesy of Brent's Discord over here.
Yeah, I like this map definitely right now for the offense, working out very nicely for them. But that Orisa dropping down definitely going to be good on the point. Is going to get the support, but Waffly just absolutely decimating, getting a lot of damage and a lot of value, just shoving these different characters off of where they like to be. Just disrupting so heavily here. Applesauce getting low, but not able to get finished off here. This Widow Audacity not getting as much as needed. Waffly just absolutely dominating in Applesauce. Dang, didn't expect the low DPS tanks to be the one that are fragging out here. And it's going to cause Pancakes and Macho Man to swap to Ball Zarya. Can we call that double ball?
Double ball. All right, I'll let it slide. The Fury, they're going to pass the first test, and they're going to force swaps out from Deepdish. At the end of the day, when you're playing on that very, very open point A, you got to hope that what your tanks are doing, and they picked unorthodox tanks. You're not going to see Ball Diva too often on this map. You're going to definitely favor your double sniper, double shield-esque compositions. Oh my god, Waffly is schmoving right now. He's going to knock Macho Man out the window. Gets absolutely finessed, as Macho Man's going to point out in chat. And he's trying to take the Widow down, as it's almost a distraction. Radio's dragged from the high ground. It's not going to be enough. The Fury, they're starting this out well. They were able, what I was trying to say in the first place, is they crossed the space. They were able to break past the point where poke is strong, and as soon as they started to win those fights, I was watching Radio's POV in basically that entire first point. I watched him as soon as they got close to him, he was scared out of his mind. I think his sends got turned up to about 14.5, because he was trying to snap back and forth between so many targets at the same time, and it really wasn't getting the job done. Fury, they have all of their ultimates rolling into the second fight on this second point here. They're going to start off well with an area denial here from Waffly. The mine's coming out. Rally from Toro. That's going to keep everyone up. That's a cap. Fury have gone uncontested basically this entire map.
And you know what? I've been fully destroyed. My argument fully destroyed here. You're right. This is looking so good for the Fury because they did get that momentum. Yeah, they literally, I think that's the first loss that they've taken the entire map. Is Kepi on that auto, but gonna respawn basically at the point anyway. I like this a lot right now, and I really don't like the hero choice right now for the Deepdish. It's scattered. There's not really an idea right now.
They're trying to put something together that's probably relative compared to the rest of the composition. You caught a double ball, I think that's definitely going to be fairly accurate. They're trying to put Brent to be able to deny this wrecking ball. The snipers really are making the difference. Sensei and Relentless, they're getting the job done. Audacity swapping over to the Torb on this third point, I think actually does make a lot of sense. It's trying to deny Waffly some space. Waffly's going to get chunked low already. So he's going to try to play this more like a brawl. Pancakes, oh my god, that's 2 stuns and a CC. And that one's going to be quick. Slam, not quite popping anyone up, but Applesauce's bomb is going to be relatively decent. He's going to try to go for the remake. It's not going to get anything. 4 minutes, 20 seconds. They're knocking on the door.
Listen, Kepi getting a couple frags moving forward here. Applesauce capturing that turret with only 3 people on point in this Deadeye. Getting a little bit greedy there, I think, Relentless, but he is going to be able to get that ball eventually. Lucio also low, going to get cleaned up with the entire team here. It's just already over. What a slaughter. 4 minutes.
That's more of what I'm talking about. That's what Fury needed to be going for. They finally, like, this was relatively similar to the fight that we saw happen on Hanamura B, where Deepdish swapped their entire team composition. But fortunately, with playing ball on ball, playing mayhem on mayhem, cancer on cancer, whatever you prefer to see it as, the team with more ultimates is just going to be able to have more outmaneuvering space. They were able to use sights to corner Deepdish effectively after they made those swaps. Not even the swap of the Torbjorn, because they can deny Waffly on the ball here. And it's a much better map here for the Fury. 4 minutes and 1 second. They got interest. It kind of reminds me of the American banking market right now. You put $500 in, you get $500.01 out a month and a half later. That's what Waffly did, and he's going to be very, very happy with that wrecking ball, putting in the pennies in the piggy bank as they are trying to take map 1 here, get on the board here.
And I think the second thing is, yeah, while Orisa is technically the optimal poke on Junkertown, I think it was the wrong call, for sure. Like, I like the idea of mixing it up here, but you've been outshining them with your just regular old Ryan Zarya composition or Ryan Diva composition. If you're the deep dish, just brawl up front. It really, with that Reinhardt, especially with that buff to him taking less knockback, I mean, it really makes Waffly's life harder, especially because Waffly's basically punished for moving in like that. And even now, it's going to be a Winston Zarya. It's not going to be as punishing on the Spall. And honestly, Waffly's the biggest problem, I think.
The best control that we saw almost the entirety of that attack came from Fury when they got a sleep stun and a crap ton of damage pumped into Pancakes. On double shield, they're playing against a Wrecking Ball. It's a very simple pull into Rocket and do a whole bunch of damage. They didn't get it done. And so now they're kind of trying to go back to their roots, to a comp that really doesn't make much sense on this map. But at the end of the day, they're just like, all right, what are we comfortable with? What can we try to do things with? And they're going to try double bubble here. Radio, after one fight on Genji, immediately has decided that it's a terrible hero and moves over to Widow. But he's got to work against two hit-scan players really in their prime on this map. So he's going to have to get a lot done. And now he's got a ball in his face as Waffly is going to smack Radio upside the head, take a quick kill, and Fury getting a nice stock to start this point out.
I think I like the one thing that's working right now for the deep dish is that Zarya, because there is a ball, basically full charge the entire game. That's the one thing that's going to work for you really well if you are on the deep dish. Unfortunately, otherwise, you have no shield, basically no support for your DPS here, and that's really what you need. You need some sort of counter on those snipers. Radio, though, getting a nice pick onto that Brigitte. Kuro Moon gonna go down. Macho Man finding Relentless, but Applesauce finding Brent. That Brig definitely very important right now as Rural not in the most optimal spot and is gonna get iced out by this Bob. Waffly manhandling the rest of the backline.
Pancakes is trying to find Kepi, and finally with the jump he will, but straight into the loving arms of Kepi. They're going to take a nice trade there. And the double bubble aspect of this team did not get the job done. Nana Boost and Grav on the Winston combined for a whole lot of, I believe, 1 kill in that fight? So not quite what you're going for there. And the poke variants of Fury's composition are leading them towards the promised land. 2 minutes left on Deep Dish's offense, and they've blown a lot of their lead. Brent is building up towards this rally, so potentially some more sustain in this fight as Sensei Glue does not have anywhere close to a bomb, but he has pole position right now. Taking the back line, and he's just pumping in the damage, forcing the bubbles and all the resources, and Applesauce will finally get back to the back. It is a 6v6, and not one that favors the Deep Dish.
There's gonna be that bomb. Finds both supports! That's the end. That's this fight over. It doesn't even matter what the Deep Dish do. It's over. Audacity fishing for something with 2 people on the field. Isn't gonna find anything. Sensei Glue gonna find 4. Man, no aces today. Everything keeps getting denied.
Fury are just trying to survive here. I don't think they're trying to go for style plays. I don't think this is anything. They are just trying to get something on the board to keep this series
they're doing
rolling.
way more than surviving.
Oh yeah, it's survival was the goal at the beginning of this map, but now it's just how quickly they shut this down to keep the momentum rolling. They don't want to give Deep Dish the chance to keep moving into fights here. Sensei, once again, pole position on the Ash, and he's finally going to get to start to get unengaged. Kepi, he's going to fall. Nana Boost is going to go on his Sensei once again. Full trust in the hit scan. Pancakes, he needs to try to dodge some of this damage, and unfortunately it seems like he will. Relentless, he's going to pick off 1. Courtesy of the Hind, and Bob still doing damage onto the point. Relentless, he's found 2. It might be enough to get their healers back as Waffly is all around the point. That's going to be a Mines. Radio, he rolls directly into them. And he's 1 HP, but he still manages to find the kill. The one-hit hero, and now he dies to the Mines. It still might not be enough for the Fury, though. We're going to see. It's just a Brig alone on point. Finally, Deep Dish are going to get over the door, but a very, very nice job by the Fury on that first point. And I don't really think there's much they need to change up moving into the second. However, Double Bubble does have a little bit more of an advantage, as they are now once again going to be trying to contest a high ground with not as much open space. So Fury still needs to be careful, play on their A game.
Yeah, I think after this, the hit scan is going to be a little bit harder pressed for Fury to find as much value because it is a lot more closed and there are a lot more angles to worry about. But I think the real hero for right there was Audacity swapping off to this Tracer. Got a lot of value, got a lot of damage, not necessarily a lot of picks, but it forced so much attention away from those hit scans, from the real people that make this composition work. Great bomb as well, going to be opening it up, finding another Pancakes, fragging out to make 3 total deaths here for the Fury. Fury trying to stay alive. Applesauce also getting D-Max, so this is a hard one fight there, especially as Kuro goes down.
Radio's not straying away from these duels, and I respect that. He's playing up against Sensei Guan and Ash, who's been dominant the entire series, but he still wants to poke. He still wants to take duels, and he's been winning them thus far. I feel like Sensei probably hasn't been getting too much of the help. Maybe a Mercy could swap better, but Kuro, he has this rally. Waffle, he's going to try to contest the point, and now we see the rally from Kuro. Waffle, he's getting pretty hard zoned off this point, and Relentless the Reaper really is not going to get much done. That's asleep on the high ground. Radio trying to take the duel here. This one, he's looking like he's going to win. Maybe not sure. He's up to full HP again. The bomb. Kuro, he's finally going to find value. Brent is not going to be able to get that rally off before he goes down. However, Macho Man is trying to find things. There we go. Sensei did not quite get the heals he needed in Radio. Now he has full position. He has the backline. He has nothing but damage to rain down on the enemy team. Deepdish will looking like they're still going to have a chance to finish off this match. They're going to get it.
Very nice. Unfortunately, though, look at that time bank. This is all well and good, but their defense was the problem, not necessarily the offense. Deepdish, I mean, I think they might have this just based off of momentum, especially with these three people basically out in the open. Aren't not going to be able to get it, but if Deepdish can push this to the end, they're at a huge deficit right now because of that huge time bank. And point one was the problem for Deepdish so far.
Relentless will quickly get off of this Reaper. I really don't think it was a very effective play. Generally speaking, Overwatch isn't as simple as me see Winston, me play Reaper. And he's going to go back onto the hit scan that's been keeping him alive in this series. This time it's going to be a Nano Boost, though. Pancakes is able to go free on the backline. Cappy is going to fall. Not going to be able to Nano Boost up until... And now we're starting to see a little bit towards this inside Deepdish. Maybe starting to hit some of their stride of their own.
Yeah, definitely a lot of hate right there for real. Got jumped by 3 people, but unfortunately that's 3 people who weren't on the fight, and that's gonna lead to a huge amount of lost distance right now for the Fury. Bob getting thrown out on the defense, not in the best spot, does get slept as well. That's crucial. They are gonna lose Pancakes though if you're on the Deepdish. Applesauce getting that nice hit, and a huge anti gonna be coming out as well. Fury gonna be able to frag over the 2 kills here from Radio, who is basically carrying this fight for the Deepdish. Unfortunately, though, he's not gonna be able to carry enough as he does get iced.
Left into the backline, Radio was able to find a lot in that fight. Ironically, Applesauce did the most in that fight when he was sitting in Baby Diva form, finding the opening pick into that fight on the Pancakes, who gets a little bit aggressive, and he's gonna be able to get back in the mech. And now the pendulum, I suppose, of point fights swings back in the favor of the Fury. 49 seconds left on the clock. They only have some scant DPS ults to get things done against the double support ults of the Fury. If the Fury don't go too crazy into this one and blow everything at the same time, doesn't look like they're going to be able to. The Waffle gets a nice drop and slam down. You do not want to be going close quarters into a wrecking ball, as Radio will be felled, and the whole defense was split entirely. They're still trying to fight this, though. Audacity, a pulse bomb, trying to get it done, but now the picks are too much, and they really need to get out of dodge.
I think that pulse bomb way too late. Huge amount of indecision from Audacity. Dude, you're Tracer, right? Like, if you're at the beginning of the fight and you have pulse bomb, you need to open with that. That is such a great opening ultimate. Just completely wasted right there. I think maybe also Sensei and Relentless getting way too much value early on. There's nothing to basically oppress or stop these hit scans from getting value over the top. Winston moves in.
Final time.
Yeah, Winston moves in, and a huge dive onto the backline. Gonna get a lot of damage in with that shield gone. There's gonna be a nice bomb. Gets a lot of zoning and splits up the team. Pancake's the only one left on point to touch. Radio gonna have to drop down as this Reaper is busy fighting on the side. Audacity actually gonna lose against the Brig. Oh no! That's gonna be
1 on the board for the Fury. They get it done. Finally able to stop Deepdish's progress on the map with a just absolutely clean, inconsequential on the offense. And they're going to take it down. 1 more to go. Still Deepdish. They're going to hold on map point. And because of their 3-map lead in the beginning of that series, you know, they get 3 map picks. At the worst, they get 3 map picks that they get to have. And it's all on their grounds. They get everything. It's a good start for the Fury. This is the map that I thought they were going to pick, that I thought they were going to go to, but they really got to keep it rolling.
Yes, it is going to be Assault, though, which was probably the most brutal mode for the Fury, I think. That was definitely the most brutal, was the Assault. So if Deepdish can pick... there's not a lot of choices for them, in honesty. But, They can't pick Hanamura, so I think the best bet is probably gonna be Anubis. Volskaya I know is kind of a shaky map for the deep dish, so I think Anubis is probably gonna be the strongest pick for that offense. Yeah.
No, not at all. Volskaya.
I can't call anything right today. I have the curse tonight.
It's not going to work. It's not really going to work very well.
Yeah, like
he's going to try to bring it back, though.
The stream rule, the rule for casters, never do math on stream. I guess for me, it's never do predictions.
Fair enough. Volskaya will be the selection. Deepdish trying to bring it home. Any more swaps? We're going to see it. Sleepy's going to try to come in to bring this one home, trying to bring the 4-1 down. Deepdish ready? No, we are R. All right.
I think Deepdish probably trying to do some teleporter strats. Maybe? Or throwing out the far arc here. I don't know exactly what they're planning. It's got to be another like niche pick for like a niche play for the map, because otherwise I don't really know why you would pick this, especially after the showing from Sinaloa on the last map, just being so strong. Volskaya, I guess, doesn't lead to the harassment as much, which is why I guess they might have picked it. So I think we're just gonna be going to a Brawl Ball. I think they just don't want Waffly on ball.
And I think that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah. You could definitely see Ball come out a lot on Anubis, whereas Volskaya, it's much, much harder to play, I think, per se, or at least less intuitive in a sense. He doesn't really care, Nick. It seems like they're Fury obviously on the offense, they're in spawn, they're going to pick things, but they're kind of going to very similar with what won them that last map there on Junkertown. I think Deepdish probably haven't gotten to the point where they're picking into their opponents yet. They're doing something that's, you kind of see it a lot in chess, where there's a famous saying in chess where it's like, you don't play the player, you play the board. You play what's there, you don't play who you're playing against. Very big difference in poker, because bluffing isn't on the table in chess. It's very hard to bluff in that sport. And so you're just playing what you are comfortable with. They are only playing what the position on the board is, which is they are up 3-1, match point in the series. And I think they're just going to pick whatever's comfortable. Just clearly pancakes on the Winston. Sleepy's going to come in on his Echo, who's seen probably a lot of work, honestly. But it's the Fury. They've found what works, and they're going to try to keep it rolling. 2CP is definitely a possibility for this. They got to take their set fights, and they clearly didn't do well with the Reinhardt. So they're going to try it here on the Wrecking Ball comp. So one more time, at the Deep Dish, trying to bring in map point here.
I would really like to see maybe a swap onto more Brawl. It worked so well for the Deep Dish. Unfortunately, you're not going to go for it, and they're taking a lot of pre-fight damage. No capitalization on that so far. Fury trying to find an entry that Zarya really preventing it, having basically full charge already and getting a lot of value. Gonna get the D-Mech. Kuro is also gonna fall. Applesauce probably gonna be the next, but no, is gonna try to get out here. Good contest coming out from Sensei. Is gonna get forced out. Macho Man fighting Relentless. Waffly also going down to that beam. Looks like with the res is gonna be a pretty much effectively deathless hold.
They only lost one in that fight. I believe that was Radio going down, but this tells really the story of the difference between these two compositions. Two words that I like to use when watching Double Bubble is absorb and expand. In Double Bubble, they need to get charged for their Zarya, they need to take damage, so they're going to take a lot of early poke, then they're going to push right back out. That's an early grab from Macho Man, though. That's going to be a nice pick. There goes Kuro, there goes Relentless. That one's, it's helpful, because Brent going down fairly early in that fight isn't going to help. Over Waffly, he's still going to try to take this point. Applesauce goes a little bit too deep trying to help him. He's going to lose his mech. But Goro will fall as well. That's a stick onto the shield. The bubble drops in time. Hey. The recontest is doable.
Yeah.
He's the only one left alive. 96% towards this dupe. So you never know. You might get there. Still not a tick taken yet.
There it is.
Probably going to get that now.
I think that would have been... Oh, okay. Interesting swap. That was... Okay, interesting, but dumb, I think. Mercy gonna be able to try to help. Not gonna get too much done. Sleepy looking for a further contest. Oh, my 3 HP! Oh, it does get finished off. I think the thing that cost Deepdish that fight the most was Austin and Sleepy there going for the 1v1 against Kepi the Ana and taking actually 20 seconds. He was doing so much work outside of it.
This map, I feel like, is entirely on the DPS here. Sleepy needs to get more work done than Relentless, or this series is not going to have a nice conclusion for them. Relentless pumping in the damage from the side. It looks like he might get felled. He may here, finally. I feel like the tanks have reasonable counteraction against each other, with, you know, I think Ball probably being favored over Winston.
Especially with Brent on that break.
Zardia, you know. Oh, that's a high noon high ground. Nice kills. Bob not going to be getting too much done here on the point. First attack here is going to get sent back to spawn. Fury, not going to have it that easy.
No. Good hold there. Sleepy really loves this Sombra, working out for him pretty well so far. Was able to help secure some picks, but I think the Ana, Brig, and the Sombra definitely gonna lock down Waffly. And in honesty, as someone who loves playing ball, this is when you gotta recognize to swap. Probably gonna use this ultimate and get out, hopefully, because you're not gonna get anything done, not with 3 forms of CC.
Applesauce drops a bomb and a bubble, hopefully to get back in mech. He's finally gonna get there. Puts a lot of damage on the pancakes, actually. He pops the primal and immediately gets a giant mech dropped on his head. That's a lot of ultimate charge that he's probably just given away. So he's just going to come back it right off. Primal really not being effective. That's a yeet if I've ever seen one of a grab, and Pancakes doesn't quite get it, but the anti-nade is there.
Oh,
Pulse gets caught.
Oh, caught 3, Pulse Bomb tossed out as a Hail Mary. That was huge waste right there. Especially because these Pulse Bombs all game for both sides have been getting a lot of value. They are going to stagger this D.Va a good 10 seconds, so really solid hold.
This is DPS right here.
Yeah.
I feel like Fury are kind of forced onto this comp because it's what's worked in the past, and I think Waffly's ball is more or less a specialty of his. So, however, they do have the unpleasant affair of attacking a point B on 2CP, and so they really need to get a lot done with these abilities. And we're gonna see actually Applesauce swap over to a Winston. So a double maintain composition, but crucially, one that is able to take advantage of this nano boost more than Waffly really can.
Yeah.
This is going to be engaged onto the high ground, but they're probably going into the worst thing for them, which is Sleepy's EMP.
I think that this swap is going to allow Waffly to really swap into that more off-tank role, get a lot more of that positioning work done. They're going to lock it down, the EMP coming out and not really catching too much. It does get 3, but the point's already locked down. It was a little bit late. They're going to have to rally, and no one's actually moving to touch here for the deep dish. Really unfortunate. They are able to get that Winston. Brent got to sacrifice himself for the contest. Is going to be able to get it. Just enough time here for the next ultimate online. Radio going to find one with it, and they're going to force everyone off the point with the Winston. That was a fantastic hole considering the start. Deep Dish barely holding on.
They barely hold on. They blew a lot of stuff in that fight. The EMP's there, the rally's out. But they are going to keep hold of probably the more important thing is their tank ultimates are getting close to being up again. But, I mean, we really have to highlight Whirl there, who hits the sleep onto the Nano Winston at the same time as Sleepy hacking him up. So, good constraint by both Deep Dish's supports to not lash out immediately after Whirl called for the sleep, clearly. And that's probably what saved a lot of them in that fight. Otherwise, the supports would have been dead a lot quicker. And that fight, we just might have seen Fury taking a 2-0 lead here in this series. But not quite as it's going to be. They get a lot of time to hold, Neta Boost, grab. They're available for Deep Dish. Kuro, he's close to the rally. We have ultimates on both sides here, but a grab could be big, as Macho Man's known when to use them in the past, in a tempo variation.
Applesauce going to go for that flank, not going to get it, is going to be forced down onto the point. Deep Dish have to play very cautious. They're going to throw down that Graviton, catching both tanks with the anti-nade. Huge there. Relentless going to be popping it, finding one off the initial pick. Not going to be finding too much else, as this Winston going to completely abuse him. That's going to shut down that entire push right there. Very clean.
A good grab from Asherman. Very good. However, he didn't really get much out on the side of the Fury. Relentless pops attack advised a little bit late, but they still have a lot left. Rally, Nano Boost, Mines, and Primal, and nothing to shut it all down. Brent needs to build this rally to give that double bubble comp some more sustain in this fight, or this could be Fury, maybe capping this towards the end of regulation.
I feel like it could be close here. This Primal probably going to be used for the contest. They're going to nano the ball, actually. Not the optimal play, actually. Winston tested was going to be the perfect choice for that. There's going to be the bombs on point, though, locking it down for a little while. Bombs, though, not really in a great position. There's a lot of room for Deep Dish to take this, but they're not going to actually be able to get to touch. They're so close that somebody has to contest here. It's going to be Asuna. Everyone dies, though, and that's actually going to be it. Round 1. Clock out. Gonna go to Fury.
A Waffle. I may have watched possibly the saddest instance of a wrecking ball attempting to make a play there. I think the nano onto the ball was very much the correct play in that sense.
Yes.
I don't really like the Winston there, but specifically because of where they were stacked up. If you watched Waffly's POV, Nana boosted, he just banged his head into a wall about 4 times as he tried to hop up the ledge, which would have allowed him to get the pile driver slam onto that high ground. And a Nana boosted pile driver on top of your people. I don't know math, and as you said, don't do math on stream, but that is clearly over half of those healers' HP, with Winston already jumping up towards that high ground, and that probably would have been done faster.
Yeah.
However, Fury, they have all the ultimates, and even though Waffly's Nano was completely wasted, he still has the mines that he can lay down on the point. That picked up 3 quick kills in that fight.
Yeah,
and 2-0 is going to start it out. There's no time left on the clock, but once again, staying alive.
Yes, Fury doing a great job there. They did cap it out. That's the important part. This can go to another set if the Deepdish are able to cap. But the thing is, I mean, to be fair, Waffly was trying to do a 2 or 3 frame trick, if I remember correctly. Very difficult to do, so not really going to blame him. It's a lot easier when you actually have someone's head to roll off of, but unfortunately no one was down below. Other than that, though, still a great play. And as much as I like Deepdish right here, I think you gotta start playing your opponents a little bit more. They're playing the map, I think, a little bit too much and not really adapting besides that. Versus huge amount of adaptations here coming out from the Fury, and it's really starting to compound. It's really starting to count.
Okay, double bubble, radio on the Echo. Has to start well, and it does. Relentless jumped on, flattened like a pancake. Down he falls. So far, still damage getting pumped in his applesauce. He's poked out from his position very, very early. 3 quick kills. Here we go. Now Deepdish finally started to recover some of that stride that they had previously lost. And this is going to be a very, very fast time on point A.
Yeah, I think problem there, Relentless dying off the bat. Relentless has to be there to shut down Radio, I mean, the echoes from Deepdish are just really strong so far, so losing that initially gonna be bad. Unfortunately, they're basically gonna sacrifice that in favor of a Reaper, and even though this is indoors, it's still effectively kind of outside. There's not a lot of like vertical limitations here for those flying characters.
Alright, here we go. This could be Deepdish's one of their last attacks. They don't really have too much of an ultimate advantage, but Sleepy's Pulse Bomb could be there to open it up. He's trying to go for a double blink, but it's actually going to be Sinaloa who engage here first. Slam, monkey jump onto the high ground. Waffly's going to cut a lot of space out, and Royal will fall. However, here comes Sleepy into the back line. He's going to find the stick. Cappy is traded out as a response. However, I don't think it's really going to be anywhere close to enough. Waffly and Applesauce making the correct play, going first. That's going to be a good hold, even though Sleepy's Pulse Bomb getting good value. Waffly's engages, and their aggression paying off.
I liked the engage from Fury, and I just didn't like the decision to go for it from Deepdish. It was only like a half-hearted committal. It wasn't the entire team moving in there from the Fury. It was only basically the tanks, and there was really no punish because 3 people went forward to aggress. Asuna gonna swap over there to that McCree, so probably gonna try to punish that ball a little bit more, provide a third form of crowd control with that flashbang. I do like that, considering how they did play that last fight.
Certainly. Relentless, he's had some time to catch up here. 70-4 is his ultimate. He's going to go over to McCree, as you previously mentioned here. Pulse Bomb there, not getting value. Sensei is not going to find what he needs to. The tanks are anted again, but Waffly, oh my god, the space this man is making is ridiculous. Sleepy now starts to pick up swords, probably some of the tempo here. He finds Relentless. Second kill is looking for Sensei. He's going to hit him with a flashbang. That's going to be enough. Applesauce wakes up, finds the Preble just in time. 99%, but all the kills going in the favor of Deepdish. 4 minutes and 24 seconds. First tick is gained. Down goes Applesauce, but Radio will fall. That is 2 players dead, and out of this fight, grab it on Surge. That's a solo grab on the Kepi. He's not going to get it, but guess who is Relentless? He's back in the fight with the Death Blossom. He's found 1. That's 2. They're going to recover this just in time, it seems. Mr. Macho Man, that grab maybe a little bit wasted trying to catch people off at the point. He's going to go down. Pancakes, the last man standing, but they will stay alive. Good return on their value for Relentless swapping over to the Reaper and finally getting the ultimate there.
Think a little bit too confident from Macho Man there. Huge waste of grav. Radio also tried to duel Kepi. The Echo duels have not gone their way at all, ever. The Echo 1v1's not working. If you haven't noticed it yet, Echoes on Deepdish, stop 1v1ing Kepi. You've lost all of them. Who knew that an Ana would be so strong against a flying bird? Either way, Tracer, Sensei trying to look to charge the rest of that ultimate. They're going to be trying to throw the nano, the end out here. Not going to find too much. As Waffly is going to go down here, but Sensei and Waffly are going to get kills before they go. It's going to be 4v4 now. Three down total with the loss of Applesauce. They're not going to pop the rally to try to hold it, try to force him back, but the spacing's too good.
There is fear in the eyes of the Deepdish as Kuro pops the rally by himself and runs straight at them. And I have never seen a team collectively leave a point as fast as I just did when I saw Deepdish turn around and run from a one-man brig offense. I'm not sure if that was a show of force, but they had 2 DPS players there very capable of killing him, and neither of them did. I don't really want to see that one again for the Deepdish, as they had a very good opportunity to end this map. And guess what? It's the same offense. Dupe on the Wrecking Ball and Pulse Bomb into the back. Dude, it's the same aggression. It's legitimately the same offense every time, both from the Deepdish and from Sinaloa. Sinaloa is getting altogether more value. Have the mines before you not got over yet, but Pancakes is down. They don't get this.
I liked that fallback from the brig because it was basically 2 support ults wasted, but then they can't make anything of this follow-up. They just keep failing on the follow-up to decide whether they want to collapse in on the dive or move forward. Every time it looks like the Deepdish have a plan, the Fury just say, send Waffly in, it'll be fine, and it works.
Waffly and Applesauce have used the exact same engage for the past 5 minutes. Deepdish are adapting to the point where they're hitting a flashbang on his Descendants, but it really hasn't changed much at all. And the old rotation from Sinaloa has been almost flawless. Brent, he's gonna get the rally here.
No!
Here come the mines. Mines, and he's a whiff. Mines are down, but here comes the high noon. He will find Relentless there. Pancakes is the only one on point, trying to charge this up. That's gonna be a trade back from Sensei. Nanabu's on kind of Pancakes is gonna be keeping him alive as Kuro is going to fall. 75% towards the rally. He's not gonna get there, but here comes Nanabu's back on the side of Sinaloa. Finds a Tracer. Bomb on the point. Macho Man trying to get one. He will find Relentless, but it's not gonna catch the slippery divers of Sinaloa. The ball, Waffly Sensei still alive. All the kills in the favor of the Fury. And with 1 minute and 19 seconds left, as these kills are slowly going to get cleaned up here by the Fury, you really have to think that they have a very good shot at taking this map here.
Yeah, they have a massive shot here because the Deepdish, they had one good play there and they just keep struggling to close it out. Finally, you're going to swap over to the Brawl composition, which I think they are way stronger on, and sending in Radio to come in and deal with a lot of these problematic characters as that Doom really helps. He's a good counter to the ball by really negating that mobility, and we're going to see him charge in here. Does get a massive punch, shutting Waffly down.
This is the start of something potentially. They really only have one fight to get this done because the second one has to be fast. It has to be rushed. But Relentless just walks straight at a Rhine Shield. However, I think this is the fight that Sinaloa really had to take. They have to take this, and they do it correctly, not using too many ultimates. The Deepdish were also forced into this engage, but they're not getting out of this quickly. With 25 seconds, they're probably going to try to turn this themselves, and it's not going to work. Sleepy, he's going to get felled with 25 seconds left. Applesauce is going to trade his life for it. Here comes the ball on the point. Mr. Macho Man trying to get things done. It's too deep. Kuro's there. He's found one. Now Pancakes, wait, back on the point yet. It's not over yet. They got the Reinhardt back in the fight. Kuro's going to get traded. Here comes the beat. That's a lot of extra heals there. Rural, he's got the beat up there on the point, but he's going to get felled by the mines as they're stripping away all the extra HP given by the Lucio. Pancakes is going to go down. Waffly finds another one to sleep. It goes directly into it on the Tracer, and it's just too little. Just too late. Deepdish dropped the ball for the second map of the road, this time on their map pick, and Sinaloa staying alive, and you gotta think maybe, just maybe, there is a chance.
Yeah, I mean, there's a massive chance here. Deepdish have thrown away literally 2 maps, basically, especially with that last fight. They had a huge shot at it, but then they just keep throwing it away by focusing the wrong target or just not even engaging at some points. Like, they needed to fight and take out Waffly. They did a great job there. But then you see Pancakes just randomly in the middle of nowhere doing nothing, getting blown out by a Reaper. So no peels to help him, and he's not even peeling to help himself. Really unfortunate misplays by Deepdish, but Fury are taking it to the max, and they're really taking advantage of these massive mistakes. Cannot emphasize how devastating these have been for the Deepdish, because they're losing 2 maps, and the momentum swinging their way. I know Deepdish is it's a team that highly depends on the psychological factor of the team. Really works, it depends on that mentality, and they're losing it.
They're starting to get there. Sinaloa, the ball comp is working for them. Deepdish are going to go into map pick number 2 of their 3 map picks left in this series.
Hybrid.
So once again, map 6, they have a chance to close it out. going back to hybrid, so they probably want to pick something that favors ball. And they're going to go, that doesn't favor ball, that favors brawl. They're going to go straight to Eichenwald. All right. Eichenwald is going to be the play. I think it's reasonable, but once again, with Kings are expanded, there's not a lot of good choices left in hybrid.
No.
So Radio will get subbed back out. Radio, I think he's won one map this series. Yeah. Maybe.
I do like Eichenwald initially as like the knee-jerk reaction for Deepdish, but when you think about Nimbani, it doesn't really favor ball. It does favor a harass style, but it favors dive way more than the ball itself. Versus Eichenwald, you can make a ball work, even on defense. So, arguably, I would like Nimbani because it also gives a little bit more room there to whoever's playing that Echo, who I think is critical right now for the Deepdish, because that Echo is just unable to get shut down. I would like maybe instead of the Echo to see a Pharah that seemed to be worked out slightly stronger for them and provide a little bit more pull to make that double hit scan happen. If the Fury are forced onto that double hit scan, it looks like that's when Deepdish kind of overwhelmed the front of Fury, the front line, and that's when they get the advantage. Otherwise, just that extra DPS helping Fury divert attention, really strong, really making it work right now.
All right. No swaps for the Fury. Map 6. Here we go.
Gonna be Eichenwald. Again, I kind of like this. It's not bad. You're right. There's not a lot of good choices. Eichenwald, though, you can really make the ball work, especially with certain rollouts. I know if you basically use ball as a Doomfist rollout, it can cause a lot of problems. And divert attention a lot. Like, he can basically do the same rollouts as Doomfist. That 5-second nerf to his initial spawn does hurt a lot for those rollouts, but I think it's definitely still possible here. Fury have a lot of room to work with, basically, and they're going to keep running the ball, which I like. It works. Keep going for it. Thankfully, though, there is going to be that brawl, and there's going to be the Pharah. The two important factors that I really wanted to see, and they've made the adjustment.
Ball definitely still going to be very, very viable on this map, so I would still expect to see it. Point A can be a little bit rough on it due to the lack of verticality. And again, the Winston, this may be rough. And this is, once again, tanks, they're going to be able to displace. They're going to be able to give space. Obviously, Deepdish making their different readjustments, but that does mean it is not going to be standard, and that means Sensei and Relentless have to be crucial in this series. Here we go. Map 6, match point number 3 for the Deepdish. Their ticket to finals, they're still trying to find it, and they still got another map pack left after this one if they lose it, but the pressure is mounting.
There's going to be Waffly immediately getting rid of that high ground, going to the side, forcing a lot of the attention to be diverted. It's going to allow the rest of the Fury to push through. That's what I'm talking about. That rollout makes it so difficult for the defense to really divert that attention because they have to deal with the ball. Waffly getting a lot of value because he is really good right now. He is very low. He's going to be forced out. Dive is going to come in on the rest of the mostly divided team here, but a good peel going to stop that from happening. The additional healing from that Baptiste going to be super critical right now as well.
Yep. They're going to be getting it done. The dive not quite as effective as it needs to be. Waffly is going to get healed up here, actually. Both of his supports have remained alive throughout this fight. And Kepi, while all this time this poke has been coming through, it's Nano Boost versus Barrage. Once again, Sleepy, he does not have contest, rather similar to Hanamura. It's just hit scan. He does not have the Diva to deal with yet in this fight. And so this Barrage could be pretty brutal.
I feel like it probably will be. I mean, if you saw, he didn't get a lot of kills in that fight, but he got so much value. I mean, he already has all, and he basically didn't really get contested because Relentless died almost off the bat. So a lot of value for this Pharah. If the Barrage is at least good, gets at least a pick, I think this is squarely in favor here. Gonna find Relentless on top of it. That's a little hurt. But Brent going down, worse, I think.
Applesauce, he's got the Nano Boost engaged into the backline. Kepi, he's gonna fall courtesy after giving that Nano Boost. And Sleepy, so far maintaining his edge in the series. They're getting the job done. Not a lot of ultimates expended, definitely. Rural forced to pop the Valk, as well as the Shatter. And Grav, and Barrage. Applesauce, all right, he's done with it. He's done with the Winston, done with his stint there. He's back onto the Diva. So damage mitigation is now going to start to come to play, and not a moment too soon. Dab Master's High Noon is ready to go.
I think Waffly needs to swap. He's taking way too much pre-fight damage, and it's really hurting the team right now, especially with the lack of that shield here. With Applesauce going too off tank, Waffly's gonna have to go into this more main tank-esque role, and it's really not built for Eichenwald. Bald is not as good here as that main tank position. Relentless, though, gonna be having that ultimate, is also gonna find that far as well. Super strong opening. There's gonna be the bombs on point. That bomb, that Diva bomb, not gonna clear out too many of them. Relentless, not popping his, but Dab goes down.
Waffly and Sensei send that man flying to Never Never Land, but he's going to get rezzed up very quickly. Mines are going to be used now on the point. The first tick is going to come through for the Fury. There is a win con on the board here. Dab Master is getting low again, trying to get down. Here comes the slam. Waffly, much more value now that we've entered the brawl stage of the fight. It's actually the latter stage of the fight that are favoring. You would think with the Pharah, with the McCree, with the Reinhardt, it's the brawl that takes the damage, and that takes the the aggressive stance in this fight. But no, it's Waffly in the hit scan. Once again, getting things done. Applesauce picking up a last few kills, and the ball has to get rolling now. This is where verticality and one more fight win can really start to push some pressure on Deepdish.
Yeah, I think also the swap from Sensei to that soldier, absolutely massive. Shutting down Asuna, shutting down Sleepy there, absolutely crucial. Needed that 100%, and they did it because of that swap to the Diva and the swap to the second hit scan. Really crucial, but oh, that's gonna be hurtful right there. That's gonna stop this push. Losing 2 off the bat, gonna be pushing in here. While that charge is very aggressive, Pancakes really can't get punished for it. There's not a lot of damage besides those hit scan, and I mean, this ball basically giving a lot of that for free. May as well gonna be shutting down Waffly very hard. Is gonna barely get out. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh.
He does get him.
Wait, Applesauce! What the? What? Where? What?
He's on the flank. He had to text his mom that he wasn't going to be down for dinner just quick enough, and now he's back at it again with the pranks. Shatter's going to be laid down. That's going to find both hits, getting a 100 on the high ground. He's trying to get the DM up in time, but Applesauce guesses incorrectly, and Dab Master pops a triple on this one.
That was really unfortunate. The ultimates weren't used in that McCree popped it, and that's going to be 2 ultimates down. They had a huge advantage, all 6 rotating while 2 are getting used here by the Deepdish. So that's going to hurt because now they're only down to 3 versus Deepdish going to be having 3 as well. Especially with Asuna. Again, the only thing stopping it is that Diva, and that Diva is just gonna get melted all the time because Waffly still is on that ball. That ball really strong, but it makes the pre-fight so much harder on this map. And it looks like with this second point, with that verticality of McCree and all the spread defenses, Ball isn't able to create the openings he needs.
Setup is required. I think that he needs a little bit more help. I think potentially swap out of the trades could certainly help things for Waffly, but he's going to roll to the team. Here's a slam. Here's Moral Charge built up, and you got to realize that as we're saying, oh, Deepdish are dominating, look at the ultimates on the side of the Fury. Here comes the Nanovisor and the bomb. That's just, the bomb just kind of tossed lazily up in the middle of him, but it still finds Sleepy. He will go down to the Blizzard, will get traded out for Relentless. Here comes Macho Man. He's trying to get the heals now into the back. Going to be taking the duel here with Applesauce, but it's the ball versus a brawl. Waffly, he's backing up 97% towards this minefield.
Oh.
Now the hit's going to start to get rolling as Applesauce finds Brent. That's the majority of the heals down. Pancakes is still there, but a Shatter knocks a few of them over. He's going to get stunned up pretty quickly. Waffly's still however not in this fight. But Diva, Applesauce, he's getting all the work he possibly can done. Macho Man trying to get it back. Bomb. Doesn't find anything. He will get remeked as Relentless. His beat is going to get counted out. That's a headshot. Nice one there. Applesauce now still in the back line. Effie trying to get it done. But 44 seconds remaining on the clock, and I don't think Deepdish are going to lose this fight. Not just yet.
No, they still have ultimates in the bag, and not in the Fury don't at all. Unfortunately, though, it is going to be the people on the respawn that's going to have it. Brent unable to get it off before it's really time. Dab, he's getting focused down. Amazing target priority right now from the Fury. I think they're going to be able to take this, but they're not going to have the momentum moving forward to this next point. I think it was the right choice to hold those ultimates because that was the respawns were going to turn that tide. Basically going to be 3 ultimates to just Applesauce getting a mech.
Okay. Not quite a bomb. It's close. Yeah. Final fight now. It all banks on Waffly trying to get some value here. He's going to slam in front of everybody. He's not going to like the high net matrix. Force him to drop at the low ground. Applesauce not quite going to get that bomb. He gets focused down very, very quickly. But here comes the Nox. Potentially there. It's Waffly who actually gets knocked as a case of that Reinhardt hammer swinging and hitting in there. Still no kills for the ultimates. All invested by Deepdish. But here's the big one. Blizzard put down on the point. Waffly isn't going to get frozen up yet, though. He may be able to get this minefield yet. Pancakes, he's down. Slam into the back line. Sensei, he's getting the work done on the soldier from the high ground. Rockets, they find Rural. People people are antsied, and Brent, he's not there. Slam onto the point, Minds pop. He forgets to touch. Oh, he almost gets there just barely in time. Sleepy, Relentless is down for the time being, but now it's just in time for the bomb. The bomb is there. Applesauce, he gets one. Not quite. Still trying to maintain possession of this point. Need to stay alive here, Waffly. Don't get blown up. Doesn't quite get there. Pancakes is back. 62% towards this shatter. He's going to be taking a lot of that poke damage now from the mines. Waffly, he's playing a very dangerous game, but it's one I fear the Deepdish are winning. Fury, they're not quite there. The beat to secure it. The kills are back. Pancakes drags it back, and Royal with the beat secures it for them as Waffly is going to get knocked off the point for the last time. Relentless is there, but not for long, and the Deepdish have a win con on the board.
Nice. Deepdish being able to hold that so crucial, but Sensei, honestly, hidden hero right there. He had the entire flank to himself the entire fight. He never got shut down, basically, for that entire fight, and he got so much value. Sensei, you gotta watch out for that soldier hit scan. Doesn't seem as dangerous initially, but just getting so much damage out over time, and it's really hurting the Deepdish. Fortunately, though, they were able to hold because that main fight taken a lot easier with only that one hit scan putting out that damage. Relentless had to swap to the Reaper, unable to get everything done. And I think that Baptiste as well, Brent, with the immortality and the massive increase in healing, been carrying this game for the Deepdish. They really needed the Baptiste, and they have it now.
To the credit of the Fury, they got a good push on offense, as most pushes can end on A, and a lot can end definitely in this bridge portion of the map. They have control over the area that they really, realistically need to win this map.
Yeah, that bridge,
which is
definitely.
They've got second, and they got bridge. That's so huge for a map that relies on hit scan and ball. You need that to have a hope in this series. So don't count them out of this yet. But the Brawl, they're back at it again. Deepdish, they're trying to bring it home with May McCree, Waffly, and Applesauce. Applesauce is done. Clearly, he didn't expect a Farah, and he's not going to get one. Winston and Ball, the last hope, the last stand, and here we go. And I've said this many times before with the last hope, but I think this one, Deepdish, are much closer to this. They're much closer. One more map, a few more fights, and finals, and they are bound.
Yeah, I think this is a lot stronger for the Deepdish. They're going to have that Reaper Doomfist swap instead. Slam, Waffly, basically not going to find anything. Huge dive there onto Brent. Almost get him. Is able to get out. Huge
still
punish.
A reasonable trade, though. Applesauce goes a little bit aggressive into the Reaper Doom. It's not quite going to be there. Waffly's still creating the panic in the back line. He's going to slam, knocking people back and forward. Relentless is 1 HP. Dabmaster will find him in the end of the engage. But Brent is still in spawn. We have to realize they are still down there Baptiste. And we still have the main heals. Cappy, he's kind of uncontested right now. Reaper Doom finds it very hard to get up to an end and a really realistically value on the attack on that. And Goral, he's feeling the brunt of it. Down he goes. Cappy finds him with a snipe into the backline. Now Applesauce feeling the pressure on the Reaper. He's going to get away. Dabmaster trying to get up to the high ground here. He's almost made it. Punching out. Doesn't find Relentless. Almost there. He needs to use his abilities well. Gets the uppercut. Relentless is still gunning him down, but it's all the kills coming the way of the Fury. The tanks are in there, and Dabmaster, he's only going to get the one pick to recollect his thoughts and get back out. One fight repelled. Fury. Pretty good job.
I like the idea here, but yeah, I think that Reaper was a little bit ambitious. I like the May a lot more. You need it for the way that they're playing Eichenwaldt, just to have that additional shield to advance. Gonna stop that Winston from diving as easily and punish him from getting out. Gonna punish that Ball from getting out as well. Really, really strong here. Unfortunately, a little bit out of position on that initial thing, but Applesauce, okay, he's going to be the tank of choice to get punished. Does get finished off right there. There's going to be the Meteor Strike coming up from Dabmaster, targeting those supports. Almost gets them. Is going to try to get something. Is going to abandon that, though. Good call right there. Mines do go down onto the point from Waffly. Macho Man going to find Relentless. That's a really nice pick there. Reaper, so crucial for the damage right there. Supports now in danger. Popping the rally right now. I think that... I mean, I don't know. It looks like it's a losing fight here. Bomb gonna be on point. Gonna catch, barely not catch that Winston.
This is where Fury, they're starting to get incremental value with their heroes, their picks. Rally, Nano, they were effectively used to keep Sensei alive, and he's making the best of it. Rural will fall after... Sleepy did there. There's the flash. They maintain their advantage. The problem with Reaper Doom is they could only kill one tank. They picked Applesauce and they were able to do it, but they got rid of so many resources trying to do it. And now they realize what they need is more consistency. McCree may, but the problem is a minute 27 on the clock. Fury, oh no, they are looking at this one and maybe Once again, just maybe. Sensei, he is going to get run on speed boost, used very adequately. But here comes the slam. Shatter, it's not going to get stunned, but Relentless is still on his back. He's very, very low. He's going to get healed up. And at the end of the day, there's a Death Blossom waiting. He's in the back. Brent's already going to get killed. Dude, the displacement for Waffly is too much. They have to use nothing. They use nothing, but take everything from Deepdish. This is a stagger.
It's a huge stagger.
And 6 seconds, and he's going to take the hop. I mean, I'd have let him take the hop. That is a long way to go.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
But he's going to take the Elam, but 50 seconds. They have a Blizzard and a beat, and barely. Look at everything the Fury are getting.
Also, keep in mind here, Deepdish, they have no target priority. A large part of this problem is that you have to be able to target the correct diving tank properly, but they're appealing so much for Waffly that it's leaving the Winston Applesauce open to get so much value. That Blizzard, though, gonna lock down a large area, make that possible, but it doesn't matter because Sensei able to fly the pick with that noon. The same in the back from Waffly, a little bit too strong. That Winston also there. Bomb is gonna find two.
Oh,
Remake getting Titanfalled on. Relentless Applesauce finding men.
Back line. Relentless, he might have been able to find something there with the Death Blossom, but down he goes due to the remake. Macho Man, the hero at the death. Neta boost used on Applesauce, and while there are a considerable amount of kills going the way of the Fury, Deepdish, they just barely keep their hopes on Eichenwald alive here. My god, that was much closer than it needed to be, but they get the point rolling. And kid, that wasn't even the hard part of the map.
Yeah,
that was to do this when they're playing double hit scan on the high ground against the Fury, and a ball that can recontest and has slam off a 1,000-foot cliff whenever he wants it.
Also, double hit scan now. This is the part of the map where the double hit scan was so oppressive on the Deepdish. Fury doing everything they can to make this harder, especially with that high ground. Bad angles right now for the Deepdish to really push through. They're taking so much free value. Brent so low. That's going to be the mark. They're going to dive. They get him!
The set play is too good here. Waffly and Applesauce combining there beautifully. It's really funny how, how we were saying that, one of these main tanks should get punished, but they just don't. I mean, Fury have just been too clean with their engages. I feel like Sleepy, he's still going to keep the Tracer here. This is interesting. I thought that was a stall pick, but it's not. And once again, just look at the ultimates. These are going to be some absolutely juicy fights, and I think this one's the biggest. Sleepy realizes that it's probably needs to go to Tank Buster. I like this better than Reaper Doom. Reaper McCree looks a little bit more consistent here. It's still a lot of front load damage that they really need to focus on. Here they go in through the castle.
Yeah, Applesauce going behind. Look at Pancake, so aggressive, away from the entire team. Is gonna get completely punished. That's a wasted ult here, as no one's there to actually support him. Huge misplay by that main tank, and everyone's gonna abuse it.
I'm really not sure quite what happened there in that backline, because Waffly was waiting there on the high ground. No one really got into the backline, and it really seemed like Pancakes was acting out on his own, even though his entire team rotated with him through castle. 54 seconds left. Ultimate's definitely being used that fight, but now here come oh my god, that's a lot of swaps. I still think it's probably the reasonable thing to do, as these fights are lasting very long, and the heroes that Deepdish have selected, these supports in particular, are very incremental, and they involve more stuns. Here's stun, here's a sleep, there's a bomb, boom, down he goes.
Weird bomb.
Making their presence felt.
That was a weird bomb.
They're making their presence felt, but Relentless, the hit scan on the high ground, not quite contested. He's gonna run away, he's trying to get away on the low ground, 122 HP, and he's eating everything right now. That's a high noon. Ooh. This one's not over yet.
I think this is the fight that Deepdish needed. There's really basically not a lot here to contest. Sensei and Waffly going to be coming in from that high ground.
Oh, it's Waffly, though. Oh, this is actually a really good Reddit move here. Okay, mines are not going to get entirely canceled, but he's just going to die very quickly. Nineveh's on Applesauce. He's trying to keep this one alive. Symmetra. The TP is actually alive, but that's a Death Blossom. That will find the Symmetra. It's still something. Applesauce, he needs to maintain his presence on the card. Down he goes. Wait a second. I think this is it. Have Deepdish finally figured it out to get them over the line. The mine's not quite there. Waffly, he's going to get flashed up. He's bouncing around on the point. We've seen stalls here forever, but I don't think this is gonna be one of them, and Deepdish survive.
Deepdish,
and they're gonna stay alive, win this series. They got a date in the finals with LSFC, but boy, was that a lot closer than it needed to be.
That was painfully close right now if you are on the Deepdish. I mean, that was way closer than it needed to be. I think the swap onto dive made them kind of reassess their priorities for what they wanted to do and focus targets. If they could have had that for the brawl, I think it would have been way different, way better for them. Unfortunately, they didn't, and they were forced to make that swap, but good swaps on them to really capitalize on those opportunities that were presented. Fury putting up an amazing fight, though. A lot to learn from this if you are the LSFC, that how to break apart that Deepdish, and a lot of it's going to be up to that harass.
I don't think if you're LSFC, you're looking at this with any fear. You saw a team that went up 3-0. 3-0. They have to play on entirely their map picks, and they don't. And
Mm-mm.
they barely get over the line in an overtime fight where maybe a couple mistakes their way. We're going to a map 7. I don't think LSFC have any fear looking at this. And you got to realize that Deepdish had a week's break. They did not play their quarterfinals match due to a forfeit. They had
Mm.
entirely all the time to look at the codes, to look at the maps, to look what Fury did, and they did not apply it well. And now they have to go into a finals match against a team that hasn't dropped a map.
They've
I,
dropped one game.
I don't know. They didn't. They didn't.
LSFC?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've dropped
3-0.
one game.
It was 3. No, it was 3-0, 4-0. 3-0 versus Nile, 4-0 versus Emery's. They haven't dropped anything in the playoffs.
Oh, in the playoffs.
Yes.
Overall.
The regular season, yes. They did lose the Omris in the regular season, but they have not dropped a map.
Yeah, and they dominated the Aubrey's back. LSFC have showed massive improvements in the playoffs. I'm really not afraid there for Deep Dish, for LSFC. LSFC looking really strong in Deep Dish. I mean, they made a lot of mistakes, and the thing is, when it was in their favor, when it was in their momentum, it was really good. But as soon as it started swinging, they just couldn't stop it. And Fury putting out one hell of a game, doing absolutely fantastic right there. I mean, you got to be worried for Deep Dish. Those tank problems really show. Pancakes not working with them basically at all for a couple of those plays. You got to shore that up if you're Deep Dish. I'm really scared for them moving forward.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you said there were definitely some shifts in the deep dish tank line, so you can understand a little bit of the synergy problems that they had there. But I mean, that was a whole team difference. I mean, there were a whole bunch of players swapped in and out. That was not just Pancakes. That was not just the tank line having missed synergy. I think there were lots of problems here, and they have a very short time to fix it before this finals match here in season 3.
And I mean, with the progress that they have made throughout the season, they really just stayed consistent. They necessarily haven't gone through a ton of improvements. I'm really scared for them because they have to come a really far way in not a lot of time, and they haven't shown a history of making that distance. Also, a little bit of a misplay right there. They didn't really swap their healers around as much, and I understand that, like they probably had to put out for compositions, but like you have a Baptiste Moira specialist who I think works really well with your dive. Never put him in. Misplays across the board, I guess.
There's a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they get over the line, and sometimes opponents are going to surprise you out of the blue.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can't argue with that.
Huge wild
but
card.
My God. Yeah, you would have guessed. I mean, if we would have been in a double elimination situation, we might see an entirely different team. The Fury, unfortunately, it will be the end of the season for them. It was a very, very good showing in their last game. They got very, very close to a lot of these things, but they got a task at them. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially a team coming in here with 3 wins, 3 losses, basically throughout the entire season. That was fantastic, super exciting, and it was. I like close games. I would rather have every game be like this than just 4-0, 3-0 sweeps. So, honestly, yeah, really nice showing. Thanks, Fury, for playing tonight. Is there any team in particular, anyone you want to interview, Rook?
I could flame each of their members individually, so I think it probably would not be best. I will have provocative questions, and that's about it. Whatever your selection will be, Mr. Kidd.
All right. Honestly, I feel like we've kind of dissected Deep Dish enough tonight. I feel like pulling up somebody from Fury probably going to be better. Especially,
Certainly.
yeah. So let me pull them up real quick. Hello, Ava Luna. Hi. You've been selected as the person to be interviewed tonight. Fortunately, your season has come to a close, but you guys put up an amazing final match. Hello.
Hello.
So, I mean, yeah, how are you guys feeling after that match?
I feel like we actually did quite well, considering this is our first match basically as a team at this point, since we had to completely rebuild the rosters. We've had a week and a half of scrims, and adapting to what they were running happened pretty quick, actually. We managed on that 4th game to come out with our Ball Diva dive, which let us at least bring some maps back and make it very close.
Very close indeed. I mean, you guys, that ball, waffling on that ball, did so much work. I mean, was there any problem people you were really having trouble with for the Deep Dish? Or were you guys just kind of struggling to find your center?
Deep Dish, we knew coming into it, it would be a little difficult just going up against the tank line. We felt like Deep Dish definitely had the stronger tank line with how we'd been running. I think switching to like that comfort hero for Waffly and just running the Diva so we don't have to play a comp that wants to stick together, because it felt like Deep Dish really wanted to split our team up, and once we switched to a comp that let us just split up, it got a lot easier.
So with Deep Dish moving on to finals, obviously you guys are going to drop out of the running here, unfortunately, for Research Season 3. But how do you think that finals is going to go? I mean, I'm not sure how much you know about the teams currently playing in the finals. Obviously, you've seen Dish, but I'm not sure if you've seen LSFC's run. What do you expect to see going on in the finals?
I'll be honest, I took over this team like coming from the Mal tournament instead, so I've not seen really any other games except for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Unfortunately, I
can't particularly argue with that one.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think definitely LSFC have this. Is there any advice you would give to LSFC to really pick apart the Deep Dish?
I mean, Deep Dish's strong suit is definitely splitting up your team, forcing your supports out of position. So if you can run a comp that doesn't care as much, you know, the Brig being able to just protect the Ana, or just an Ana that's able to run away, and then tanks that don't rely on the heals as much, that's kind of the way to go against Deep Dish, I'd say.
All right. Well, sounds great. Thank you for everything.
One more thing, I'm curious. Yeah. I'm curious, as this team was just kind of rebuilt, you said it was kind of your first match together. What do you think happens after this for you guys? This just going to be a disband and kind of moving back into the field, or you guys plan on entering any more tournaments together?
I'm personally after Mal ends, I'm retiring from Overwatch, but I'm gonna see what the team wants to do. I mean, there's still the Mal roster, which some of the players from Resurge are also over there. So we'll see how it goes forward. If they want to keep playing in next season of Resurge or any other tournaments, then they are free to do that. They'll just have to pick a new manager in that case.
Well, from the sounds of it, of you taking over, you've done a fantastic job with the time that you've been given. So, honestly, really nice job. Congrats for making it, honestly, this far and putting up such an amazing match for us to cast tonight. I know I had a lot of fun. I think Rook did as well. So, yeah, thank you so much. And, yeah, thanks for playing in Resurge.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for giving us a good semifinals, man. Always a pleasure.
All right. So with that being everything, I mean, do you have anything else to say, Rook? I mean, oh yeah. We have to do player our favorite MVP for this match.
MVP.
Waffly is like the first
honestly,
thing off slide.
The first thing that you really have to look. I mean, even though Sinaloa lost this match, I think a big turnaround in the series was definitely Waffle switching over. I would have to say my vote would go towards Relentless, because clearly there was a switch within the series that they needed to go after. But it's interesting because the switch in the series was Waffle obviously moving over to the ball, but I think the thing that you have to look at within that composition is that it swapped from ball being the centerpiece of the composition, like the hit scan being pocketed and absolutely relied upon, to the focus now switching to the ball under the Winston there engages, and hit scan more or less just less to do their own thing. The fact that they were able to get the same, sometimes even more pressure when they were, than when they were getting nano boosted and damage boosted and all that type of things, really tells me the story I need to know from this series.
Yeah, definitely.
If I had to give it to anyone on Deep Dish, I would probably say they're off tank for his consistency.
Yeah, fair enough. It's not like Deep Dish did a whole like there weren't really any standouts, so honestly off tank did pretty good, like regardless of the conditions that were thrown at him. But besides that, yeah, definitely Waffly just opening up those avenues, super strong, absolutely awesome player to see tonight. With that being said, I think that's absolutely everything for this evening. So unfortunately no games have been scheduled because I mean it is literally one game left, so we'll have to see how that goes and when that's going to be available. Besides that, thank you for joining me tonight, Rook. Was a pleasure as always. And to all of our viewers, have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you all very much. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the finals.